Now there's a rising star in the north. Ottawa's Andre Ware boldly going where he's never been before, the CFL. When they last met, Ottawa was giving the Cudas a rough ride. Then they blew a big lead in a dramatic reversal of fortune. Today, the Heisman hero makes his first start behind the anchorman who's come home to block for Ottawa's NFL connection. In Birmingham, Matt Dunnigan's frequent flyer passes 40,000 yards all time. And this year, this has been his chief destination.
Coming for you, baby.
When the Cudas don't have the ball, look out. Jack Pardee dishing up a new brand of football full of Southern hospitality. Welcome to historic Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. We pause now for the U.S. national anthem.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we had at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the guns bursting in, gave through the night that our flag was still red. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the love of freedom and the hope of the
We're in Birmingham, Alabama, in the heart of the U.S. Deep South. This is where Bear Bryant had some of his greatest victories. It's also the home now of another football legend, Jack Pardee. His Birmingham Barracudas trying to make inroads in the land where four down football is gospel. Joining me in the broadcast booth, Don Whitman and James Curry. Guys, the last time these two teams met, 56-46 Birmingham, 102 points, fourth all-time in CFL scoring. Can we expect much the same today?
Well, the Ottawa Rough Riders would certainly be happy if they could score 46 points again. They have a new trigger man in Andre Ware, the Heisman Trophy winner, and I'm looking forward to his CFL debut this afternoon. But scoring points hasn't been as much a problem, James, as preventing the opposition from scoring points. They've given up an average of 40 per game.
They've given up too many points on the defensive side of the ball this year, but one of the stabilizers that they have on the defensive side is Lloyd Lewis, a defensive tackle who could not find employment with two teams coming into this season, but he's happy to find a home in Ottawa, and Gilstrap is happy to have him anchoring in his defensive line. On the other side of the ball, you have Marcus Grant for Birmingham, looking today to become the Barracudas' first 1,000-yard receiver in a season in the CFL.
And he was at the training camp of both Saskatchewan and Baltimore, couldn't find employment there, but he is now just 25 yards shy of 1,000 yards. He is the leading receiver in a pass-happy Birmingham offense. He has 50 catches this year. And look for Matt Dunnigan to put it in the air. They run the run and shoot here, and we have Andre Ware coming out of a run and shoot program at Houston.
Don, Andre Ware making his first start as a CFL quarterback, matching minds against the two men who trained him, John Jenkins and Jack Pardee at the University of Houston. And Andre Ware is the subject of our B.F. Goodrich TA halftime report. It's been 6 years since he smashed NCAA records to win the Heisman Trophy at Houston. Shunned by the NFL, he's now turning to the CFL for his professional break. Well, we had thunderstorms and heavy rain come through Birmingham yesterday. Today it's sunny and hot, 31 degrees, hot, hazy, and humid, just the way they like their football in the Deep South. And we're just about ready for the opening kickoff here in Birmingham. The Ottawa Rough Riders and the Birmingham Barracudas, the rematch of that 102-point game 16 days ago. Here are Don and James.
Jack Pardee, a coaching legend. He has had success in every league he has performed in. And visiting his office, it's like entering a football shrine with all the trophies and the memorabilia on display. And he's hoping to lead Birmingham to a victory and success in his first year as a CFL coach. He has an experienced quarterback in Matt Dunnigan. On the other side of the field, Jim Gilstrap, the rookie head coach with the Ottawa Rough Riders. This has been a very trying season for Gilstrap and the Rough Riders. The team has won just 2 games, but they are not out of the playoff chase. It's been a year where the Ottawa team has been plagued by injuries, and they have been forced to make a number of lineup changes for this game against Birmingham. 56-46 the score the last time these two teams met. Luis Cedeños will kick off for Birmingham. Ed Small takes the kickoff, and Small fights his way out to the 29-yard line, and that's where Ottawa will scrimmage 1st and 10. That was an 18-yard run back by Small, who was reactivated for this game. The quarterback everyone will be focusing on today, Andre Ware. He came in late last week against BC. He completed 4 of his 8 pass attempts. 1 of them went for a touchdown. Andre Ware established a number of NCAA passing records when he was at Houston, and the most impressive was the 46 touchdown passes he had in his Heisman Trophy winning season, 1989. He's under pressure early, and Andre Ware is going to go down with Peoples getting through to make the quarterback sack. Shante Peoples had a big game against Baltimore last week. He had 3 quarterback sacks in a losing cause. He's number 2 on the Birmingham roster with 9 sacks. This is the way the Rough Riders line up. James Monroe is at center, replacing the injured Irv Damon, who is gone for the year. Dave Donnell has moved to the running back spot. Dion Struther is the fullback. 2nd and 14, Struther the ball carrier, and he will get a tough 3 or 4 yards before he's brought down. It's 2 and out for the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Well, a tough start for Andre Ware, his first play of the game, being sacked, and that's not the way you want your new quarterback to get started in the game. They're going to have to make some adjustments up front early in this game. Ottawa is to give Andre some time to throw the ball.
Well, trying to provide protection for Andre Ware is going to be the problem for the Ottawa Rough Riders this afternoon. And as Ware comes off, you can see that he's not at all happy that he didn't perhaps get the protection he was looking for on the first 2 offensive plays that he ran, particularly the opening play where he was sacked by Shante Peoples. 3rd down punt by Wayne Lamley. Eddie Britton picks it up, nowhere to go, but the Barracudas will have very good field position for their first offensive series. That was a 36-yard punt with a 9-yard return. Matt Dunnigan, number 2 all time in most passing categories in the CFL, behind Ron Lancaster. 20 touchdown passes this year, 8 interceptions. But most importantly, he became only the 2nd quarterback in CFL history last week to go over 40,000 passing yards.
Well, that 8 interceptions was a key statistic, Don. Whenever you can have a 2-to-1 ratio or even 3-to-1, that's exceptional for a quarterback.
Dunnigan flips it out to Marcus Grant, and Grant with some blocking help, but he trips as he got to the 40-yard line. Managed to get back up again and is stopped right at the 40-yard line by John Kropke. Grant only needed 25 yards to become a 1,000-yard receiver for the Barracudas. They've moved Roosevelt Patterson to left guard for this game. He has played every offensive line position but center. And Marcus Grant, we have spoken about a couple of times, attempting to become the Cudas' first 1,000-yard receiver. Dunnigan out of the shotgun, throws it out into the flat. And the catch is made by Marcus Grant. 2 receptions for Grant. And he has 24 yards in total, so he's just 1 yard shy of that magic 1,000-yard figure.
Well, the problem that Ottawa's had on the first 2 plays is they're playing a lot of soft man defense. They're giving an 8 to 10-yard cushion at the snap of the ball, and the receiver's able to break and come back towards the quarterback and make an easy reception.
Fake inside, the handoff to Long, the deep throw for Grant in the end zone. He can't quite get it. Tried to get in behind Brett Young, but Dunnigan overthrew Marcus Grant. Dunnigan was under a bit of pressure. He faked inside to Ted Long and then went deep to the end zone looking for Grant.
You know, people look at the run and shoot offense and think of it mainly as just a passing offense, but there's a lot of misdirection thrown in on these plays where you have receivers going in opposite directions from each other. But the play faking inside to Woodside, the running back, allowing Grant to go deep and near miss in the end zone.
So that means Luis Zendejas will come into the ball game to attempt a field goal of 39 yards. His longest kick of the year occurred in that game between Ottawa and Birmingham. In Ottawa, 156-46, and Zendejas caps Birmingham's first offensive series with a 39-yard field goal and a 3-0 lead. .59 remaining in the opening quarter. Birmingham leading 3-0, and the Rough Riders have opted to scrimmage from their own 35-yard line following the Zendejas field goal. Andre Ware not happy as he came off to the bench after the first two plays.
Well, you know, when you get in and you get your initial start, you hope for big things to happen. And Andre Ware, the big thing that happened for him was for the Birmingham defense to come in and get that sack on the opening play of the game.
Small goes wide to the right. Alexander splits to the left. Odessa Turner is back in the lineup as well after missing last week's game with a sprained knee. Handoff straight ahead to the fullback, Struther, and Struther is brought down by Ledbetter after a pickup of about 3 yards. Angelo Snipes, a former Ottawa Rough Rider, is the sack leader for the Barracudas. Mike James has been a big factor at the middle linebacking position, and Anthony Drawhorn, another ex-Ottawa Rough Rider, playing safety for the Barracudas. Pass complete to Alexander, and Alexander has the first down, taking the ball up to about the 49-yard line. The coaching staff talked about the strong arm of Andre Ware, and he rifled that pass into the hands of Ray Alexander.
Don, one of the things Ottawa did was equip their entire receiving corps this afternoon. Everyone is above 6'2" in height. Andre Ware delivers a lot of high footballs, and as you can see, Alexander having to reach high to pick up that football, but that's where he's going to throw it, and he has the big receivers to complement him this afternoon.
Apart from the strong arm, Jim Gilstrap said the thing he liked about Andre Ware was his poise on the playing field. The hitch screen for Odessa Turner, but the Barracudas were ready for it, and they make the tackle right at the line of scrimmage at the 50-yard line. James was there to make the stop.
A lot of pursuit on this Birmingham side of the defensive ball. When you look at their defense, the way it was made up, a lot similar to the way that Baltimore built their defensive structure last year. They put a lot of former CFL veterans on the defensive side of the ball. They put 5 in the starting lineup this afternoon, and that's the key. You have to have a strong defensive team when you're building a football team.
But they do have rookies in the secondary. Really, the only experience is in the safety. Anthony Drawhorn, deep throw intended for Nigel Williams, and it's picked off by Anthony Drawhorn, the safety. And Drawhorn is forced out of bounds directly in front of the bench, and there's a penalty flag. Monroe with the hit on Drawhorn to knock him out of bounds, and that drew a late penalty flag. But Anthony Drawhorn was there on the deep throw intended for Nigel Williams to make the interception.
Well, that time Andre got too much air under the ball. You could see it flutter at the end of the throw, and Drawhorn playing free safety.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Ottawa, number 59, 15-yard penalty from point ball dead. First down, Birmingham.
Drawhorn playing free safety the way he designed it. They moved him from halfback to the free safety position this year, feeling that he would be more like a traffic cop back there in the middle with the 4 young corners and halves that they brought in, and he's been directing traffic, and a fine job on the interception on that play.
Double coverage on Nigel Williams with both Andre Strode and Anthony Drawhorn over to defend, and Drawhorn comes up with his 4th interception of the season. From the 39, it's 1st and 10. Dunnigan trying to go for it all, looking for Marcus Grant, and again, Brett Young had excellent defensive coverage on him.
Well, this is one of the things that's wrong with the run and shoot offense, is that all the plays are signaled in from the sideline, and when they're signaled in, they generally signal in quite late, and it doesn't give Matt too many opportunities to option out of the play. Young is still down on the play at the end of that incompletion.
7 players who dressed last week in the loss to the BC Lions are out of the game this week against Birmingham. I talked earlier about the changes that Ottawa has made. On July 27th, when they lost to BC 48-11, to their September 9th game and the loss 43-24 last week to BC, Ottawa has made 21 lineup changes. That's almost an entire roster.
That's a bad number for Ottawa to have, because the large lineup changes that they continuously make, they do not have an opportunity to gain continuity between the players, and so you really don't understand on a weekly basis who's going to be playing next to you or what type of player this is going to be. You don't know his reactionary time, and that has really hurt Ottawa all season long.
And Brett Young is one of their most experienced players. And the defensive back will be replaced by Emmanuel Martin. It appeared as though he got his leg twisted up underneath him.
Well, that's what they're looking at right now, Don. And we've seen so many leg injuries, you know, here in the CFL this season and throughout football. And it's really becoming a troublesome point with medical staff and coaches, because how do you compensate for it? You just can't.
And Jim Gilstrap must be wondering if this string of injuries will ever end. One thing he was happy about is that they are playing on a natural grass surface here at Legion Field. Actually, this was converted to natural grass this year. It used to be an artificial track.
It looked like it might be a shoulder problem after all, because the way he has that arm tucked up, and now Ottawa is forced to go to changes early. Martin is going to come in for Young. As you see him right here, he just gets his feet tangled up and he goes down. He's trying to brace himself, and he may have just jammed that shoulder and possibly popped out a bit, Don.
Emmanuel Martin will come into the ball game to take over for Brett Young. Martin played college football at Alabama. For college football teams in this area, yesterday was not a great day. Alabama lost to Arizona, Auburn to LSU, and right here at Legion Field, UAB lost to Jacksonville State.
No, this is an area of the country where they care more about their football than they care about their kids, it seemed like, because it's lifeblood. You have U of A and U of A down here, University of Alabama and University of Auburn, and you know they're rebel risers down here.
It will be 2nd and 10. Dunnigan continuing to operate out of the shotgun. Penalty flag in the play. The pass complete to Marcus Grant at the 20-yard line. That's a 19-yard gain, and Dunnigan is waiting for the call. It looks as though it might be procedure against Birmingham.
Legal procedure. Birmingham, number 81, loss of 5 yards, 2nd down, repeated.
It was Marcus Grant who crossed the line of scrimmage prior to the ball being snapped, so the 19-yard gain will be wiped out. You caught a glimpse of John Jenkins, the offensive coordinator. He calls all the plays for Matt Dunnigan.
Well, that's something that John has been accustomed to doing over the years at the University of Houston. He called all the plays for 2 of the quarterbacks in this game. Andre Ware, the backup quarterback for Birmingham, Jimmy Klingler.
Sideline pattern to Eddie Britton, and he makes the catch, and will get to about the 35-yard line, but short of a first down, so that means the field goal unit will come into the game again. I asked Matt Dunnigan how it felt to have someone calling all the plays for him, and this is 13th season, and he said, as he put his wrists together, it's like having handcuffs on.
It is, and a quarterback like Matt Dunnigan, who's been around for many seasons in the CFL, would love the opportunity to call his own plays, but John Jenkins feels that he has more experience, and he has the coaching staff looking from upstairs that could lend more input, and this way they know what play is being called, and it's something they're going to have to work through from both sides.
The second field goal try of the game for Zendejas, and he puts it through for a 6-0 Birmingham lead with 8:37 remaining in the opening quarter.
Coming right up after today's game, the Molson Million from Woodbine Racetrack in Toronto. Regal Discovery, the Queen's Plate winner, one of 11 horses in this field to run the 1 1/8 on dirt. The early morning line had the favorite, Peaks Valley. 1st and 10 Ottawa. Back to Don.
And the Molson Export Million will follow this football telecast from Legion Field in Birmingham. Ottawa trailing by a score of 6-0. 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. 2 field goals by Luis Zendejas. The pass out into the flat area, and it is complete to Dave Donnell, and he will have a gain of about 5.
Dave Donnell has been a pleasant surprise for Ottawa since being picked up. Another one of those players who could not pass a physical in the preseason in Edmonton. He was just at home in Toronto. When they made the call to him, he was able to come in and help out this Ottawa team. But Andre Ware that time with a nice safety valve outlet to his running back.
Denal signed as a free agent with Ottawa on the 10th of August. Where with time, looking over to the far side of the field, it was intended for Odessa Turner, and Turner couldn't get into position. He's looking to the sideline man there, hoping that there would be a flag, but there was no penalty infraction as Strode was defending against Odessa Turner.
Excellent inside-out coverage from Strode, and what he did not allow Turner to do was come back towards the inside of the field to make a play on the football, and Andre Ware led him inside, and Strode with great defensive coverage.
44 receptions for Turner coming into this game, the leading receiver for Ottawa with 779 yards. Good third down punt by Lamley. Taken by Mac Cody. Cody looking for some blocking to develop, and he can't escape the clutches of Sean Marriott. A 7-yard run back after a 38-yard punt.
Well, excellent coverage, as you said, that time, and maybe Ottawa can take that and build something on it. Now you finally have Birmingham starting in poor field position, and this is where they need to come up with a defensive stand or possibly a turnover, which would really get Ottawa's offense in great field position.
Matt was telling me that under the run and shoot system, he has probably been hit more times this season than he has in his previous 12 years in the CFL. He manages to fire this completion into the arms of Ted Long. He operates out of what they call the super back position.
The super back, and you spoke about, Don, the hits that Matt Dunnigan takes. A lot of people want to keep track of stats on sacks, but what the real stat is on a quarterback is how many times he goes down from a hit during a football game, because that's where he gets worn down and tired from.
2nd and 2. Dunnigan gives the ball to Woodside, and Woodside is going to be stopped short. Something else that Dunnigan said that rather surprised me, he said, we really don't have a short yardage offense.
Well, they don't. If you look at all their linemen, and as you can see on that play with Ottawa with the great defensive surge up front to stop Woodside on the running play, is that when all your linemen always are operating out of the two-point stance, they really don't get those drive blocks. And that time, Ottawa took full advantage of it in getting that good surge, stopping them short of the first down.
Player stands at his own 32-yard line for this 3rd down punt. Small fields it at the 8-yard line. Small managed to struggle forward to about the 13. That was a beautiful 55-yard punt and a 6-yard run back by Small before he was stopped by Donovan Gans.
That's been one of the big advantages for the American teams in the CFL this season is their specialty team play. They can put a lot of speed on their specialty teams, and generally the players that are playing on the specialty teams don't always have to do dual duty. So they're a lot more fresher when they're coming down covering kicks.
Ware, in speaking with him yesterday, felt quite confident in his knowledge of the Ottawa system. Last week against the BC Lions, he only had about half a dozen plays to work with. But he's taken a crash course this week, looks over the middle, and it is intercepted. Anthony Drawhorn with his 2nd pick of the game. Dave Denal was the man Ware was looking for, and Denal was not looking back to the quarterback at all.
He was not looking back to the quarterback. He would have been looking back in a bright sun. But Anthony Drawhorn, we've seen 2 examples this afternoon of how you play center field. This is how you play the game as a free safety. He read Andre Ware's eyes. Andre never bothered to look him off. Drawhorn sitting right in center field, just stepped right up, picked it off for the easy interception, his 2nd of this afternoon.
He has played every position in the secondary, feels most comfortable at free safety, and in this opening quarter, he has 2 interceptions and now is tied with Andre Strode for the team lead. Dunnigan is in some trouble, trying to get away from McCready, throws into the end zone, incomplete. Jason Phillips is the man he was looking for. Emmanuel Martin was defending against him.
A lot of times back to Anthony Drawhorn, you talk about he feels more comfortable at free safety. Sometimes when players lose a step, they want to go back there and play center field. You're not stuck in man-to-man coverage. But once again, we saw Matt being knocked down after delivering another pass.
It will be 2nd and 10 from the 20-yard line. In the offseason, Drawhorn lives in Duncan, British Columbia.
Nice country out there, too.
Hand off to Woodside, and Woodside, who has averaged 8 yards per carry, will get about 7. Chris Sangaris, playing the middle linebacking spot, made the tackle. Woodside was in the training camp of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, was released, thought he might have a chance to catch on with Saskatchewan, but in the meantime was able to sign a contract with Birmingham.
Well, we see Woodside coming off the field, and we got to look at those great numbers. They average 8 yards a rush, but they really don't run the ball. Only 47 carries coming into this game. He was also hampered by a bad ankle, and we see him limping, laboring as he comes off the field. So that will put another troublesome point in their running game if he cannot continue at full tilt.
Klingler will hold for Zendejas, his 3rd field goal attempt of the game from the 20-yard line. And like the previous 2, this one is also good with 4:28 remaining. 4:20, that is, in the opening quarter. Just behind the post to the left of the picture is the offensive coordinator for Ottawa, Jerry Keeling, 15 seasons in the CFL with Calgary, playing both sides, a defensive back and quarterback. And the quarterback he started the season with is sitting right beside him. That's Danny Barrett. He was injured, and they've had a succession of quarterbacks in Ottawa until finally deciding that Andre Ware would be their man, and Andre Ware gives the ball to Dave Denal, and Denal stumbles his way up close to the 40-yard line. Now, in the last series, when they came off the field, Ware had some things to say to Denal, probably about the pass he threw in his direction that was intercepted, but also, I think, about some of the blocking assignments.
Well, he was expecting to run that pattern out, and Denal looked like he may have given up on it. And sometimes players do that when they feel they don't have a chance. They'll just give up on the route, and Andre Ware felt that, hey, run it out. You cost me and the team an interception.
Anthony Drawhorn has made both picks so far for Birmingham. A passing situation. This time the pass is complete to Dave Denal, and he has a first down as he crosses midfield into Birmingham territory at the 54, an 18-yard gain.
And more often than not, when you see those type of confrontations between two players on offense, they'll have a tendency to come back. But watch the arm strength of Andre Ware. He puts that ball on a rope. He gets the ball out to Denal where he can get turned around and get headed up the field. Nice play for the Ottawa Rough Riders offense.
Ball is at the 53, 1st and 10 for Ottawa. Odessa Turner lined up wide to the left. Ware looked over the middle, couldn't find a receiver, decides to run with the ball and loses it as he goes down, but the whistle had already gone in the vicinity of the 47-yard line. That's a pickup of 6. Steve Henley came up to make the tackle with help from Sam Peoples, who was only with the Barracudas for his 2nd game after coming out of the camp of the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, Andre Ware goes back into the pocket. He was getting some time. He felt the heat coming, and he tucked the ball, stepped up. But watch the hit from Sam Peoples right at the end of this run. Right, that's where the officials have to step up and protect the quarterback, because he was down. He wasn't going any further, and he came in with the top of the helmet. That's spearing.
2nd and 4, Ottawa. Handoff inside to Dave Denal, and he will be close to a first down as he continued to drive towards the vicinity of the 42-yard line before being stopped by Steve Anderson.
Well, running behind Mike Shadd and James Moreau right in the middle of that offensive line. They're very pleased to have Mike Shadd in their offensive lineup. Almost a mishap on the running game. But look at the drive blocking of Mike Shadd right there in the center of your screen. They feel that he's one of the better offensive linemen in the CFL just in his 2nd game here with Ottawa.
First and 10. Screen pass, Dave Denal, and it is broken up by Mike James. They couldn't get the blocking set up in front of Denal before James came through to make the tackle.
Well, Denal got tied up with David Black, his offensive guard, who was trying to get out and get a block for him. He got tied in with James and wouldn't get disengaged, and he got caught for the loss on the play.
You talked about Mike Shadd earlier. The coaching staff was saying that he does hard sets right at the line of scrimmage, and that harkens back to his playing career in the NFL with Los Angeles and Philadelphia.
And I'll elaborate on that after the play.
Wide open in the flat is Turner, but Ware overthrew him badly.
And back to Mike Shadd, when you were talking about the hard sets, Don, what linemen do in the States is that they're so accustomed to having someone right in their faces that they just stab them right at the line of scrimmage. You want to get both of those hands on them. In the CFL, linemen have been more accustomed to retreating another yard plus the yard that they're already giving at the line of scrimmage. And that's been a plus for Mike Shadd because defensive linemen are not accustomed to that in the CFL. So he stops them, then all of a sudden they have to restart again, which should give his quarterback more time.
Lamley trying to kick this one towards the sidelines, and he does put it out of bounds at about the 12-yard line. It was a shank kick by Lamley when Ottawa was leading in the first meeting of the season between these two teams. More or less started the outburst by Birmingham, where they scored 34 points late in the game en route to their 56-46 win.
Wayne Lamley has had a troublesome past 2 seasons in Toronto, last year and early in this season, and since coming to Ottawa. There's been some decisions made on his behalf that have been questionable by the coaching staff and his teammates. And as you spoke about, he thought that he would run with the ball, decided to pull it down, and shanked it out of bounds.
A hitch screen for Birmingham, and this is Eddie Britton with the ball. He gets to the sidelines as he got the foot speed to outrun everybody. Just forced out of bounds. The last man came over to make the tackle. Dwayne Knight from a linebacking position ran a long way to take Britton out of bounds, but not before he got 63 yards.
Don, a great play call that time by Matt Dunnigan, but it was set up from the offensive line. Thomas Ryan, the offensive tackle, the left offensive tackle, will get a glimpse of it as Matt throws the ball. Does a great job of hustling and getting out. You'll see him right there to the right of your screen as he roll it on through. As he gets out and get that key block, you'll see him right there as he comes up on Ricks to allow Britton to get outside and run.
Back to the live action. Dunnigan trying to strike quickly. He does. Shredrick Austin on the receiving end of the throw for the major score. A 41-yard touchdown pass from Dunnigan to Shredrick Austin.
One of the things Matt loves to do is throw the ball deep. He came with the slip screen to the outside, a long play developed.
There is no infraction on the play. The flag fell accidentally out of the official's pocket. Reset the clock. There should be 1 second on the clock. 1 second on the clock, please.
So Austin, activated for this game in place of Donald Moffett, accepts congratulations on the bench, and he is delighted with his reception of that 41-yard throw from Matt Dunnigan for the major score.
Well, the key to this play, look at the time that the offensive line gives Matt. He's able to step up in the pocket. Moffett able to get behind Jeter, Mark Ricks on the play. Perfect strike by Matt Dunnigan, one of the best long ball throwers in the history of the CFL. And you see the Dunnigan reaction after the touchdown strike, number 21 on the season.
And more injury woes for the Ottawa Rough Riders on the touchdown toss from Dunnigan to Austin. Horace Morris is being helped off the field, and he has been one of the steadier performers for this team defensively all year. What they like about him is his ability to put some pressure on the quarterback, and he is assisted off the field. Brett Young went out earlier with a shoulder injury, and he could be gone for the day.
Well, it's been a long year already for Horace Morris. He played 10 games in the World League over in Europe and came over and joined the Riders in training camp and been playing 12 games this season already. He could be a tired young man.
Zendejas with the point after, as the Birmingham Barracudas in this opening quarter have taken control in the rematch with the Ottawa Rough Riders. Well, Shredrick Austin will certainly remember his CFL debut, his first pass reception for a 41-yard touchdown.
And what Matt Dunnigan saw, he saw the man-to-man coverage up top with Ricks and Austin, and he's giving him too much a cushion, and he's looking in the backfield. Matt recognized that before he could come out of his backfield. Austin was behind Ricks. Matt threw the perfect strike. Touchdown, Barracudas.
We talked about Jenkins calling all of the plays for Dunnigan. He does, of course, have the option to audible out of the play that has been called. Ed Small on the kickoff return for Ottawa, and he got to the 35-yard line and was spun down there. Kyle Faulkner was there to make the tackle, a 13-yard return. Statistically, in the opening quarter, 139 passing yards for Birmingham, 88 of them coming on the touchdown drive. Passes to Britton and Austin for the major score in just 2 plays.
But the two turnovers by Ottawa is a lingering number for them, Don. The interceptions by Anthony Drawhorn in the first quarter has really killed Ottawa.
First and 10, the pass to Nigel Williams, and he is caught and wrapped up immediately. Tommy Oates came over to make the tackle.
You know, I've really been impressed with the speed of this Barracuda defense. They have really been pursuing to the ball quite rapidly. Once the ball is in the air, they're making their breaks and they're getting over. The first defender is holding up the receiver and everyone else is coming in taking a lick on him.
A couple of young players on the roster of the Ottawa Rough Riders. Nigel Williams out of the Hamilton Hurricane system. Dave Denal from the Burlington Braves. Sideline pattern intended for James Ellingson. And Ellingson played his junior football with the Richmond Raiders.
Well, that time, excellent coverage by Andre Strode at the end of that play as he went up high over James Ellingson and just outfought him for that football. And Ottawa is struggling here offensively. Andre Ware coming into this afternoon's game. When he went into the game last week versus BC, there was really no pressure on him. He came in, the game was out of hand. So whatever he did that was good was going to be a plus. This week, with all the pressure on his shoulders, it's a different Andre Ware.
Lamely again angling his third down punt toward the sidelines. It's taken by Cody at the 35-yard line, and Cody brings it back close to the 50-yard line before being brought down after a 14-yard return.
The last time these two teams played, Sammy Garza played quarterback for Ottawa, and he had a CFL best day for himself personally, passing for 446 yards and 4 touchdowns. And we haven't seen that type of results thus far for Andre Ware, who seems somewhat frustrated as we get a look at Sammy there on the sideline playing secretary this afternoon for the coaching staff, charting plays. But if things continue the way that they're going, you may get a shot to see Slinging Sammy.
First and 10, Birmingham from the 49. Marcus Grant takes that hitch screen and is extended out of bounds by Eric Jeter. The blocking was forming to his inside, but his momentum was taking him to the outside of the field, and Jeter helped him go out of bounds.
Well, you get an ISO here on Jeter. Watch how crisp he runs his pass route. He comes in, he gets the ball, and he breaks it back out. But the acceleration, look at the hustle from his teammates, getting out, picking up blocks downfield. Now, that's the difference in these two teams today. The enthusiasm from the Barracudas and Ottawa seems somewhat flat.
Second and 4 for the Barracudas to the other side of the field, and it's a first down with Jason Phillips taking it out of bounds. Phillips has been on the receiving end of 53 passes coming into this game, 819 yards.
Well, Jason Phillips is a long-time member of the run and shoot offense, playing at the University of Houston under offensive coordinator John Jenkins, but made sure that he got both of those feet in bounds, and only one is required in the CFL when you make a reception.
First and 10 from the 50-yard line. There's that hitch screen again to Jason Phillips, but an excellent job by Ricks to get up and force the play back inside.
Derek McCready was coming out there also from his defensive end position. You'll get a good shot of it here coming right into your living room screen. Right here as Dunnigan delivers the pass, getting a little pressure from Clemens, but Ricks came up and forced him inside, and McCready, hustling from his defensive end position, has missed a couple games, back in the lineup this afternoon.
Second down play, penalty flag. It could be that Long was offside as the pass is completed to Phillips. It looked as though Long mistimed his motion towards the line of scrimmage.
Penalty flag on the play.
John, you were correct on that. Procedure is going to go against Birmingham, but Matt Dunnigan really hasn't been feeling much pressure up front.
League of procedure, Birmingham, number 86, loss of 5 yards, second down repeated.
You'll see him right here in the pocket. The pressure's going to come late. Lloyd Lewis broke through. He was able to step up, but no one else was there. Horace Morris came in, but you have to have that consistent push across the front. You got to get all 4 players on an even plane.
2nd and 16 from the midfield stripe. Dunnigan intercepted by Remy Trudell. Trudell, who leads the Rough Riders in tackles, comes through with a big interception early in the 2nd quarter. Playing the safety position, Simon Fraser product Remy Trudell makes the interception, giving Ottawa the ball at the 36.
The key to this play is the sight lines of quarterback Matt Dunnigan. Back here is Trudell. Matt Dunnigan never looks him off, and he's playing center field the way it's drawn up. Threw the ball into the post. Trudell breaking for his 3rd interception of the season, the big break that Ottawa needed defensively.
Trudell in between the 2 receivers who were in the sight line of Matt Dunnigan, and Ottawa takes over 1st and 10 from the 36. Dave Denal gets to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it.
The one thing that's been lacking with Ottawa's offense is that there hasn't been much imagination used in it. You're going to have to bring some new wrinkles and try some razzle-dazzle or reverse here and there. But when you only have 2 victories on the season, just a bread and butter vanilla package doesn't always work, and that's what Ottawa's been running.
Ottawa has never won a game in the United States against an American CFL opponent. As a matter of fact, the Rough Riders have not won a game outside of the province of Ontario since October 1990 when they won at Winnipeg Stadium. Nigel Williams on the receiving end of the Andre Ware throw, and that should be an Ottawa first down.
They're 0-5 in the U.S. The 3 victories they have versus the U.S. teams came in Ottawa at Frank Clair Stadiums. And a first down here by Nigel Williams is a plus that they can build on, because if they can pick up a few and possibly even get in Wayne Lamley's field goal range, they need to put some points on the scoreboard here in the first half.
Well, they need a bit of a lift heading to the dressing room. Remember, they had a strong 3rd quarter in their game at Frank Clair Stadium. The first time these 2 teams met, the ball in and out of the hands of Nigel Williams. It will be 2nd and 10. He's a big target.
He is. He's 6'3", and all the receivers from Ottawa, but one of the things that Andre Ware does is he delivers the ball awful high, and the receivers are often going to find themselves in a vulnerable position going up for those footballs, and you can see at that time with Nigel Williams having the ball jarred away from him at the last moment.
Sam Peoples defending against Nigel Williams. He and Alexander line up to the same side of the field. Andre Ware is flushed out of the pocket, but he's going to run for a first down. He steps out of bounds at the 45 of Birmingham. They talked about the quick feet of Andre Ware, and he certainly used those quick feet to advantage to pick up an Ottawa first down and keep this drive alive with an 18-yard run.
They didn't bring him in to run with the football, but that's an added plus when you have a quarterback with that type of mobility. But watch Struthers as he's downfield blocking for his quarterback, Deion Struthers. At the end of the play, you'll see him right here, and that's what you need more of on the Ottawa offensive side of the ball, is guys downfield blocking for their teammates.
Dave Denal, the ball carrier, and he is caught after a pickup of about 2 yards. Well, Ray Alexander, another injury problem facing the Ottawa Rough Riders as he went out on the last play. And they have attached an ice bag to his left knee, it would appear.
And that's not a good sign. You cannot afford if you're Ottawa to be losing any more players. They've already lost Brett Young with that shoulder problem, and now Ray Alexander, free agent acquisition in the offseason from the BC Lions, seems to be in some pain there, and he has that ice pack attached to his lower thigh, so he may not be back.
Second leading receiver coming into the game with 39 receptions. A repeat of the 1st and 5. Denal loses the football. Shonda Peoples picks it up. And Peoples is brought down at the 22-yard line. Well, the Ottawa Rough Riders are just running into a series of problems. The most recent, the fumble by Dave Denal. Shonte Peoples made the fumble recovery, but it was Robert Rowland who knocked the ball out of the arms of Dave Denal as he attempted to run for additional yards, trying to make a spin move, and here you see Roland, number 9, coming up to knock it away.
You'll see right here as Denal is carrying the ball quite loosely as he comes out of this spin move, and Roland will come up and just strip him from behind. That's been one of the problems with David Denal in his CFL career, is an inability to hold on to the football.
First and 10 for Birmingham. The Barracudas are at their own 22-yard line. Dunnigan again in the shotgun. Dunnigan looks out into the flat. Cody makes a fine catch, but will be stopped well short of a first down. He has about 5, maybe even 6 yards, depending on where they spot the ball.
Well, if you're going to keep allowing Matt Dunnigan the time that he's been getting this afternoon to throw the football, he'll pick any defense apart. And as you can see, his offensive line giving him a great deal of time to throw the football. Ottawa has just not been able to muster any pressure up front this afternoon.
Craig Gibson, the center, makes all the line calls for the Barracudas. This pass was intended for long. It was a little high. He got turned around, couldn't make the catch. And it will be 3rd and 5 for Birmingham. The Cudas leading by a score of 16-0.
Well, that time, Dwayne Knight, you'll see him at the bottom of your screen, gets a free run at Matt Dunnigan, and they have to do that more consistently. They got to change up their rush up front, bring some backers, get him off stride.
And talking about the run-and-shoot offense, Coach Jacques Pardee was saying it's more a pass protection scheme than anything else. Dunnigan might be questioning the pass protection on that play.
Well, Matt, talking with him yesterday, said he went down 23 times last week in the game versus Baltimore, and they lost that game. So one of the things you have to do in that offense is keep your quarterback standing.
Ricks takes the ball at the 40-yard line. Penalty flags in the plays. He brings it back to the 50. A 43-yard punt by Player, 11 yards on the return. The 28-20 loss to Baltimore last week, a big blow to the first-place aspirations of Birmingham. They thought if they had gone in there and won the football game, they really had a shot at finishing first in the Southern Division.
Well, it would have put everything in that tight dog race. They would have been a half game behind Baltimore at that time with one down in the loss column, and they felt that they would have had a chance to possibly overtake them by the end of the season, but losing that game basically left no chances of that with the way that Baltimore is playing right now.
What's going on? That's what. They brought the kids over here. He's just trying to get that shit out of hand.
15-yard penalty from point possession gain. First down, Ottawa.
It's a first down, Ottawa, with the no yards penalty against Birmingham. That takes the ball to the Birmingham 53-yard line.
This is their best starting field position of the game, Don, and now hopefully Ottawa can make something of this. They had a decent drive going last time when Denal put the ball on the ground. Can Andre get them started once again?
Dave Denal, the ball carrier, and he got back to the line of scrimmage. Not much more. Pile up of players as some of the offensive linemen come in and try to create some running room. It's strange the way the CFL schedule works in the final weeks of the season. Both Birmingham and Ottawa have a home-and-home game with the San Antonio Texans, and there are many people who think that San Antonio right now might be the best team in the Southern Division.
Don, they've been playing exceptionally well. They beat up on Toronto last night, and this team has gotten better as the season has gone on.
42-21 was the score last night. San Antonio over Toronto. Shante Peoples was in to make the tackle on Andre Ware for a loss on the play. The second sack of the game for Peoples. He started the game by bringing down the Ottawa quarterback on the very first play.
Well, you're going to get Shante here. He's just going to take a beam outside. Bajorn cannot get out and cut him off here, and he just gets around the corner. Perfect play by Andre with the leverage as he comes off the corner, and that's the way you draw it up. And he has a trophy sitting right there in the pocket of Andre Ware.
Now challenging Angelo Snipes for the sack lead on the defensive side of the football. Matt Cody takes Lamley's third down punt. Cody continues to battle all the way up to the 28-yard line. 6:15 remaining in the half. 16-0. Birmingham leads, and they'll have the ball when we return. On the Ottawa bench, the starting quarterback, Andre Ware, the backup, Sam Garza, and Jay Macias. both doing some charting. Garza wearing the headphones. Ware initially signed with Ottawa.
Let's go, D!
After being released by Minnesota in 1994. He signed with Ottawa October 24th, but never got to play a game. And then in February, his rights were traded to Sacramento. They waived his rights throughout the CFL. He signed with Jacksonville, but now is back with Ottawa. Matt Dunnigan gets away from the initial pressure, trying to dump it off, but Dunnigan goes down again as Horace Morris persevered and managed to push him to the turf a second time after missing him initially.
Well, Horace Morris, we saw him being helped off the field earlier with the leg problem, but he's back in, and that's a good sign for Ottawa, but they need more consistent pressure. One of the problems they've been having, you'll see in the middle of your screen, Lloyd Lewis being double teamed up top, and Lloyd has to get more help. You get a better look at it right here. He's been commanding double team pressure. We spoke about him in the opening being one of the bright spots, and even when he's not making a play, he's causing havoc.
Back to the live action, and this one is complete as Grant makes the catch at the 46-yard line, and Dunnigan is now 11 for 17.
And Marcus Grant has become the first 1,000-yard receiver in the history of the Birmingham Barracudas. We see him on a deep end route as he just breaks it off inside. Playing a zone, Ottawa is in the back end. He's not getting inside help from Sangaris or up over the top from the safety Trudell. It came late. First down, Barracudas.
That time, Grant picked up 19 yards. Dunnigan had a little problem with the snap. There's the hitch screen to Eddie Britton. Britton gets the block. Now he's trying to outrun the defender. Ricks comes over and makes the tackle. "33 yards. They don't really have a running game in Birmingham. They use that short passing game as their running attack.
Well, when you throw the ball as quick as Birmingham does, Matt Dunnigan puts this ball on the line. He just fires it out, and watch the pursuit by his offensive lineman, getting out, getting the blocks in front of him. He's able to cut back across the grain, but watch as he makes players miss in the open field, cutting back. Great athletic intensity there by Britton, picking up the first down.
First and 10, Birmingham. Dunnigan again in the shotgun, being pressured by Clemens, steps up into the pocket. Incomplete. It was intended for Shredrick Austin. Dunnigan may have been hurried on that one and may have thrown it a little quicker really than he wanted to because of the pressure from Clemens.
Well, Matt is trying to direct his receivers, hoping that they see the same thing that he does. But the pressure was coming, but it wasn't an immense amount of pressure, but a great effort at the end of that play there, but the ball just a little wide, Matt frustrated.
Second and 10 from the Ottawa 29-yard line. Birmingham leading 16-0. Dunnigan looking for more. Pass complete to Britton, and Britton will get another first down before being forced out of bounds by Mark Ricks.
When you look at the receiving core of Birmingham, a lot of little scat receivers that very quick and elusive, and Ottawa's had their problems all afternoon. They've given them too much of a cushion at the start. As you see when Britton catches the ball, there's not a defender in sight for 5 or 6 yards. He's able to get squared up, put on a move on Ricks, and pick up an additional 5 or 6 yards after the reception.
Britton's claim to fame this year, he was on the receiving end of that last second touchdown pass from Dunnigan that enabled Birmingham to beat Calgary, the only loss suffered this year by the Stampeders. Dunnigan carries the ball to about the 11-yard line. Remy Trudell came up from his safety position to make the tackle.
We saw a bit of this veer option last week in Winnipeg with Kevin McDougal playing quarterback, and Matt Dunnigan always been one to wanting to tuck the ball and run. That time took a blow at the end of that one.
Obviously wasn't much veer action for Winnipeg at Commonwealth Stadium on Friday night as the Bombers were humiliated 64-10 by the Eskimos.
Might be safe to say that they were derailed, Don.
Dunnigan with plenty of time. Incomplete. It was intended for long, and the linebacker Knight moved over to defend against him, but Knight was in a very vulnerable position because he had his back to the quarterback, and Dunnigan was unable to get enough on it to put it in the arms of Long. Well, it's certainly a warm afternoon at Legion Field in Birmingham. And the Cudas have control of this football game, leading 16-0.
Remy Trudell trying to congratulate Marcus Grant on having a fine season. Grant figuring that he's being a little overzealous defensively there, but you know, that's one of the things you got to have. You got to have a tough demeanor when you're playing football, and Birmingham came in with an attitude this afternoon that they wanted to win this football game.
Zendejas with his 4th field goal attempt. It is good. And that's the 3rd time this season that he has split the uprights 4 times in a game. He had a 4 field goal performance earlier this season against both Calgary and Baltimore. And he has 4 so far this afternoon as Birmingham leads 19-0.
It's also his professional high, Don. In 1988, he did that in a playoff game when he was a kicker for the Philadelphia Eagles in the Fog Bowl versus the Chicago Bears. He had 4 field goals in that game.
Now let's go to the sidelines, and here's Mark.
Thank you, Don. Here's what's coming up on the B.F. Goodrich TA halftime report. The Rough Riders placing their future in the hands of quarterback Andre Ware. He is the 1989 Heisman Trophy winner, set 26 NCAA passing records, and he says what the Riders need is a leader. Is he going to lead this team out of last place? We'll find out. Right now, they need some points from him as the Riders trail Birmingham 19-0.
Well, despite the fact that they only have 2 wins, they are not out of the playoff chase in the Northern Division. 5 teams make the playoffs in the North as opposed to 3 in the South. And Ottawa wasn't at all disappointed that Toronto lost 42-21 last night to San Antonio and that BC beat Hamilton 49-14. In case you missed it, the other scores this weekend in the CFL: Edmonton 64-10 over Winnipeg. Baltimore beat Shreveport 24-17 this afternoon. In a game getting underway in a short time, Memphis is at Saskatchewan. This is Eddie Small on the kickoff return for Ottawa. He's not going anywhere. Kyle Faulkner made sure of that. He was the first man upfield, limiting the return to 9 yards.
And Don, in that game, Memphis versus Ottawa, down on Narcisse.
Memphis versus the Riders, but the Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan Rough Riders. I get my Riders confused. I was with both of them, okay? Donald Narcisse should set the record for all-time consecutive games with at least 1 reception, and Tony Gabriel will be on hand at that game, the one who holds that record right now, tied with Donald Narcisse, and that should be a great afternoon at Taylor Field.
137 consecutive games catching passes for Donald Narcisse, looking to break the record this afternoon against the Memphis Mad Dogs, and Andre Ware right here is looking to put some points on the board for the Ottawa Rough Riders. The ball comes loose as Ware goes down, and I believe Strother was able to get it back for Ottawa.
Deion Struthers hustling back in there, but Andre Ware just didn't stand a chance on first down. It looked like a jailbreak. Angelo Snipes, the first one in there to disrupt the play. Peoples from the backside along with Anderson, but Struthers hustling back in at the last second to pick up the fumble.
Well, one of the reasons that Angelo Snipes was in there so quickly, he was offside, so it's a repeat of the first down with the ball moved out to the 31-yard line. He is the sack leader for Birmingham with 12 on the season. He's always been very productive in that department throughout his CFL career.
He's had 4 seasons in the CFL, which he's amassed double figures in the sack category.
Odessa Turner on the receiving end of the throw, but he's going to be stopped short of the first down.
You know, Ottawa's had 1 drive this afternoon where they got down into good field position where they were in the scoring position, but it wasn't Andre Ware's fault. It was when Denal fumbled the ball when he was hit from behind by Robert Rowland, and that took the wind out of the sails of the Ottawa Rough Riders. But with 2 minutes left here in the second quarter, they need to mount up a march to get some points of some type.
Well, they're sending in their short yardage offense. 2nd and 2 for Ottawa. Penalty flags, and this could be a time count violation against the Rough Riders, and that's the signal
Time count
from referee
violation.
Ken Lazarus.
Ottawa, number 10, to loss of down, 3rd down.
That is very costly. If it occurs in the final 3 minutes of the half or the end of the game, on 1st or 2nd down, it's the loss of a down. On 3rd down, it's the loss of 10 yards. So the time count violation puts Ottawa into a 3rd and 2 situation, and Lamley is forced to come in to punt. Mental errors have hurt Ottawa so many times this year. It looked as though they had the game wrapped up against Birmingham when they played in Ottawa. They were guilty in a punting situation of having too many men in the field. Now they take a time count violation on a 2nd and 2 situation.
You know, you see the time running down. Someone had the presence of mind to call a timeout. It's very critical at this point of the game that you make something happen positive, and they constantly shoot themselves in the foot.
Huge punt by Lamley back to Eddie Britton, and Eddie Britton brings it back to the 36-yard line. A 46-yard punt and a 16-yard return. Ledbetter was there to make the tackle.
And it's been a very tough afternoon. And when you get a quarterback like Matt Dunnigan, who has an opportunity like this, who sees the frustration of another team, he likes to go for the juggler. So don't be surprised if Matt comes in and airs it out up top right off the bat.
I believe I said it was Ledbetter who made the tackle. He wears 94 for Birmingham, 94 for Ottawa. Chris Sangaris was there to make the stop. But there's another injured Ottawa player. Sean Marriott is down near the midfield stripe.
And another blow for the Riders medical staff. They've had a hard afternoon all day running back and forth to administer the players on the field.
Sean Marriott, one of the backup linebackers, an area where the Rough Riders have been thin all season. Coach Jim Gilstrap was saying that of all the problems the team has had, the most acute have been at the linebacking position, where players have gone down. It seems every game they've been losing a linebacker, in some cases 2 per game.
Well, they've had problems, and one of the things that you just can't figure out, how do you keep players healthy? And we've seen today with Ottawa seemingly innocent plays where players have gone down and they just haven't been able to get up. And Gilstrap has been very frustrating for him. We see Chris Sangaris coming back into the game at the linebacker position. He's been one of the acquisitions that they've had to make as the season has gone on. He started out the season in Toronto and now is in Ottawa.
Originally a #1 draft choice by Winnipeg in 1992 out of Long Beach State, and he was acquired by Ottawa in a trade with Toronto on August 7th. Dunnigan with the hitch screen to Long, defended very well by Jeter as he came up quickly from his corner position, stopping it right at the line of scrimmage.
And it's been too many of those plays for Ottawa this afternoon. That time, excellent effort by Jeter coming up, squaring up, making the open field tackle, stopping him in his tracks.
Dunnigan 14 for 22 for 217 yards. 1 touchdown so far, 1 interception. Twice this season, Dunnigan has passed for over 400 yards. Dunnigan now is in trouble. Being chased by Kropke, gets away, throws deep, intended for Grant. He can't make the catch. Dunnigan, according to Gilstrap, is one of the best deep throwers in the Canadian Football League, and he said if we're going to have any success against Dunnigan this afternoon, we have to put some pressure on him, and we have to be solid in the secondary.
Well, they put the pressure on him, but the looseness of a Matt Dunnigan able to elude the defensive lineman, get outside, deliver the strike downfield. The ball was underthrown. Trudell coming over from free safety, but he had got...
So Grant is unable to make the catch, and that means the punting team will come in. Player has had a relatively easy afternoon. He's only punted twice. He gets away a beauty again. Small waits for it at the 33. Nowhere to go as he works his way back to the 40-yard line with 1 minute remaining in the first half. A 41-yard punt by Player, 6 yards on the return.
And great special team once again play again by the Barracudas. The hustle downfield, as we talked about it, Don, the unlimited roster of players that you can have on the U.S. teams, and you can see it evident. I think it speaks most on the specialty teams when players are coming down and they have those fresh legs hustling down the field.
Coach Jack Pardee was lamenting the fact that his team had punted 96 times this season coming into this game. That only ranks them about 5th in the CFL in the punting department.
Well, Wayne Lamley has punted 113 times.
Odessa Turner takes the hitch screen and wisely steps out of bounds to stop the clock with 52 seconds remaining in the first half.
Now, if Ottawa could put together a couple more plays like that, the quick hitch to Turner, Look at the blocking downfield as he gets help from his teammates. And that's what Ottawa needs more of. They need some more assistance from the players wearing red, and Turner with a great effort at the end of that.
James Ellingson is playing the wideout position, normally the spot occupied by Ray Alexander, but he's out of the ball game with an injury. We're looking deep for Ellingson. Can't make the catch. Anthony Drawhorn, who has already picked off 2, came across to help in the coverage, and Drawhorn probably thinks that he should have had another interception.
Well, he probably feels that way. Ellingson is more of a possession receiver. He's not normally the guy that you want to send deep on pass routes. You keep him more in the underneath stuff, the possession short ones. That time, he just couldn't catch up with the football.
46 seconds remaining on a 2nd and 10 play. The ball is at the 51. Where with time, looks for Dave Denal, and he makes the catch at the 33. Pardon me, Eddie Small, not Dave Denal. That was a 26-yard gain, but there was also a flag back at the line of scrimmage.
Beautiful post corner route. Ed Small ran a beautiful post corner route that time, and Andre Ware, with the time in the pocket, threw a strike to him. First down, Ottawa once again marching down at the 34-yard line.
Well, this would give the Rough Riders a big lift if they could go to the dressing room with some points on the board before the half ends. Nigel Williams is the man that Ware was looking for. It will be 2nd and 10.
Nigel Williams let that football eat him alive because he tried to catch it with his body, cradling it in. Receivers are taught to use their hands when they're making an attempt at a football. That time he let the ball get to his body and bounce off.
32 seconds remaining in the half. It's 2nd and 10. The ball is at the Birmingham 33 and a half. We're looking for Odessa Turner, and he had 2 defenders working against him. Tommy Oates was 1 man defending against Odessa Turner, so it will be 3rd and 10. And as he heads off to the bench, the field goal unit comes onto the field. Wayne Lamley will be attempting a 40-yard field goal. Just outside the 40-yard line, actually.
Well, they desperately need these points, Don. Wayne Lamley, if he's been sharp all year, this is the one he has to make sure he gets through the uprights.
It's a fake. Macias, the holder, is going to dump it off, and Dave Denal could not hang on. Denal was wide open and would have had a first down, and he was looking upfield before the ball arrived, took his eyes off the ball, and a well-executed fake goes for naught.
And the frustration of a Jim Gilstrap, the head coach of the Ottawa Rough Riders. Once again, Dave Denal with a perfect opportunity to make something big happen. Watch the ball just go right off of his hands, Don, as you alluded to. He was looking upfield, trying to make the reception. The most important thing on this play is to catch the football first, then run afterwards. He didn't do it.
Birmingham takes over. Hand off to Woodside. And Woodside goes out of bounds up at the 44-yard line. That should be a first down Birmingham with 13 seconds remaining in the half.
Twice Ottawa down in field position with an opportunity to come out with points. And Dave Denal twice has put the ball on the ground in great situations for the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Well, a fumble earlier in this quarter cost Ottawa a scoring opportunity, and the miscue on the 3rd down pass denies them another scoring chance. Dunnigan with a good fake inside. Dunnigan now fakes downfield. Still has time, looks, throws for Eddie Britton, incomplete. Dunnigan, I think, initially was hoping that Mac Cody might be able to get deep, but Remy Trudell was doing a pretty good job of defending against him.
Don, I think that play right there exemplified the maturity of a Matt Dunnigan. A Matt Dunnigan of 2 or 3 years ago would have just tucked that ball in and took off running. But now Matt Dunnigan, with the injuries that he's had over the past couple of seasons, is more willing to sit back and let the receivers carry the mail and try to get the ball down the field to them.
This should be the final play of the half. And Woodside is the ball carrier, and he'll be wrapped up as he gets to the 46-yard line, and that should end the first 30 minutes here at Legion Field. with Birmingham leading Ottawa by a score of 19-0. Luis Zendejas has kicked 4 field goals.
Welcome to the BF Goodrich TA Halftime. Now here's your host, Mark Lee.
Welcome back to Legion Field in Birmingham, where the Barracudas have a 19-0 lead over the Rough Riders at the half. Barracudas could use some competition. The Riders could use some better luck in the second half. Last night in the CFL, more of the same, more wide-open football in British Columbia. The Lions devouring the Tiger Cats 49-14. BC's Corey Philpott returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown. He had 300 yards combined total offense for BC. They're now 9-3 and alone in second place in the North. At the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Marvin Graves, starting at quarterback for Toronto, threw 3 interceptions in the first quarter. 2 of them returned for touchdowns. It was 32-0 San Antonio at the half, and the Argos never recovered. They're now 2-10. This afternoon, Memphis playing at Regina against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. We'll keep you up to date as Don Narcisse tries to break Tony Gabriel's CFL record of 138 consecutive games with at least 1 catch. Johnny Rogers was the ordinary superstar for Montreal in the 70s. Doug Flutie, the only CFL player with 4 consecutive Most Outstanding Player awards. And now Andre Ware, the latest Heisman Trophy winner to play in the CFL. He's unproven as a pro, but he's still a marquee athlete in the Canadian Football League.
I've been in a lot of different places under a lot of different circumstances. I think with football, you have to be in the right place at the right time and under the right circumstances, and it kind of hasn't happened for me yet until now. And I really feel comfortable with what I'm doing. I'm actually having fun again, and I haven't had fun since probably when I left college. And this is, just kind of gave me a rebirth, so to speak, being in Ottawa and being able to play again.
He's a type athlete, and he did in college to make something happen on his own. And the successful quarterbacks in the CFL been that type guy, and I'm sure he'll fit right in that mold.
I think that more than anything, the team needs leadership, and if I can provide that, if I can provide anything that would help the team, I think it's that I'll bring to them, a sense of direction and a sense of leadership. From day one, when the huddle was turned over to me, just the bringing everyone together and just assuring them that I'm in it to win, and nothing short of that is going to be accepted. And I think the guys have really accepted that this week. We had a great week of preparation offensively and defensively, and I think it'll respond. We'll show it on the field.
Andre Ware's initiation to Canadian football, a cruel one in this first half. He has 10 completions and 19 attempts for only 88 yards, and he has already thrown 2 interceptions. To be fair, though, Andre Ware is not getting a lot of help from some of his receivers, Dave Denal, one in particular, who has dropped a couple of sure passes. In this football game, Andre Ware will need some more help in the second half. His Rough Riders trailed the Birmingham Barracudas by a score of 19-0. We're back to Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama, right after this. Welcome back to the BF Goodrich TA halftime report. In Birmingham, the Barracudas have a commanding 19-point lead over the Rough Riders at the half. Joining me here in the broadcast booth, Don Whitman, James Curry. Weren't too many Ottawa highlights, so where do you want to start?
Well, we'll start with Birmingham, obviously. We said during the telecast that Birmingham does not run the ball a lot. They use a hitch screen or a straight screen pass as their running attack, and it worked to perfection as they scored their only touchdown on a play that was set up with a hitch screen.
And the key in those plays is that they get their offensive lineman out. And Raymond came out and made a great block for Britton. You'll get it just at the end of the play. Once he makes the reception, you'll see the big offensive tackle, 55, Raymond, come out, get the block on Hicks, and Britton turns it up and gains 46 yards on the play. Great execution by Birmingham.
And then on the very next play, Dunnigan looked for a rookie in the lineup this afternoon for Birmingham, Shredrick Austin, and his first CFL catch, a memorable one, a 41-yard major.
The time, once again, given by the offensive line of Birmingham, giving Matt Dunnigan the time to survey downfield, look deep to Austin. Perfect strike, touchdown in the corner route of the end zone.
Obviously, Birmingham, a passing team, They've thrown the football 24 times this afternoon. They've only run 5 times.
Don, I noticed that Andre Ware was calling his own plays in the first half. In fact, was not listening or looking at Sammy Garza on the sidelines as he tried to signal them in. He had 2 picks in the first half, 8 completions, 88 yards. Maybe they will go to a new system. He's only had 1 full week of practice with that Ottawa offense.
Well, he isn't totally familiar, I'm sure, with the Ottawa offense or the CFL. And I think he will be getting a little more help in the second half. You've got Macias and Garza both on the sidelines communicating with Jerry Keeling upstairs. And I'm sure more of that information will be relayed to Andre Ware in the second half.
I think that was very evident in the 2 interceptions that Andre had. He did not account for that extra defensive back on the field, and the result was the draw-home interceptions.
We'll see how he does in the second half. Andre Ware's Ottawa Rough Riders down by 19 points to the Birmingham Barracudas. We'll be ready for the second half kickoff in hot, humid Birmingham when we come back after this.
Matt Dunnigan has had 2 passing streaks ended by the Ottawa Rough Riders on September 1st in the 56-46 win. He had a string of 198 consecutive passes without an interception ended. And he today had Remy Trudell in the first half pick off a pass. His current streak stood at 80 without an interception until Trudell picked off his throw in the first half. But Dunnigan has a tremendous ratio of passes for touchdowns to interceptions. He now has 21 touchdown passes, 9 interceptions. Turnovers hurt Ottawa in the first half. 4 times they turned the ball over. Andre Ware was able to pass for just 88 yards, completing 10 of 19. Dunnigan passing for 216 yards, but just 1 touchdown pass. Time of possession, a stat that sometimes can be misleading because Ottawa has had the football more this afternoon than the Birmingham Barracudas.
Well, Ottawa marched the ball down the field, but they just came up with those turnovers. And we talk about the 2 untimely ones by Dave Denal on the fumble on the running play when he was hit from behind and stripped, and then on the 3rd down fake field goal where he just let the ball fall through his hands. And that's what's really hurt Ottawa. They had a couple of marches that just came up empty.
Legion Field in Birmingham, the home field of the Barracudas, originally built in 1926. Extensive renovations, $12 million worth, done in 1991. And this field expanded to 75,000 spectators. And it was here that the legendary Bear Bryant recorded his 315th career victory. Glisby is the man who takes the kickoff, and he had no opportunity for a return as the ball is kicked to the sidelines, and he is stopped right at the 34-yard line.
Now, the way that Ottawa ended the first half, having marched the ball down the field only to come up empty, they need to take that when they've gone in at halftime and build with that. And hopefully they can bring that same enthusiasm back on the field here in the second half and get a stop on Matt Dunnigan and his Scuda offense in the first drive.
Dunnigan from the shotgun shouting signals to the wideouts on first down. Dunnigan looking to throw that hit screen, but it bounces into the hands of Eddie Britton. It will be 2nd and 10. Dunnigan has been able to use all of his receivers this afternoon. His favorite target was Marcus Grant, 5 catches for 106 yards, and with those 106 yards, Grant becomes a 1,000-yard receiver. He needed only 25 coming into this game. On second down, over the middle, the pass is complete to Cody. And Remy Trudell, the safety, made the hit, but not before Dunnigan and Cody combined for 18 yards.
Trudell has been having a tremendous season, but it's bad for the Ottawa Rough Riders in a way because he came into this game as their leading tackler. And whenever you have your free safety as the leading tackler on your football team, that means that too many offensive players are getting deep where he's playing at.
19-0, Birmingham leads. They have it 1st and 10 from the 53. Dunnigan, flushed by Kropke, now throws to the other side of the field to Keith Woodside, and Woodside, who scored a 62-yard touchdown late in the game in the September 1st battle with Ottawa, provides the Barracudas with another first down on a 17-yard gain.
Don, the key to this play is the protection, and he's been getting it all afternoon from his offensive lineman. Watch as you'll see a lot of red jerseys laying on the ground right here as Matt Dunnigan goes out. He's able to come back around. You see the players getting up, Lewis and McCready, but he throws back across the field, and offensive linemen are hustling downfield, picking up blocks for Woodside.
Pretty good size along the offensive line. The biggest man is Fred Childress, 6'4", 340 pounds. Marcus Grant, the receiver, but he makes the catch out of bounds. Jeter was defending against him. There was a penalty flag on the play.
Matt Dunnigan sitting in the pocket as Clemens comes from behind along with McCready, and he goes down, but it's been late this afternoon. Matt Dunnigan has been able to get his balls away on time. Ottawa has to find a way to get up in his face and make him stay within the confines of the pocket when he pulls it down.
Derek McCready is the injured Ottawa player. He missed 2 games with a sprained knee before being reactivated for this game. Boy, it's a good thing the Rough Riders have a week off next week, because they'll need the extra time to rest the players who have suffered nicks in today's football game, in addition to those who have been forced out of the football game. It's been a rough year for the rookie head coach, Jim Gilstrap. Gilstrap, the 27th head coach of the Ottawa Rough Riders. Previous coaching experience in Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, and Toronto. 9 years as an assistant before getting the opportunity to become a head man in Ottawa.
All coaches look for that opportunity to become a head coach, Don, on whatever level, and Gilstrap was really happy to get the job in Ottawa this year, but this has been an exercise in futility for him, because one thing after another has gone wrong. He has lost players to injuries, to just having to make roster moves, deleting players off the roster to bring players on. Yankowski's come in now for McCready, but it's been a tough year for him.
Grant is open, can't make the catch. Dunnigan tried to go for the bundle on 2nd and 20.
As you'll see Grant at the end of that play getting behind Jeter. Once again, the Ottawa corners have had a tough afternoon. Ricks and Jeter have just not been able to run with these fleet-footed receivers of Birmingham.
2nd and 20. Dunnigan again looking towards the end zone. Eddie Britton is the man he was looking for, and defending against him was Mark Ricks.
You know, Don, Ottawa has gone to a strict 3-man rush here now. And when you're only operating with a 3-man rush, you're going to lose something playing against an offensive line the size that Birmingham has on the field this afternoon, 300-plus pounds across the board. And Matt Dunnigan is getting more than an adequate amount of time to look for his receivers downfield.
Well, Sammy Garza had been wearing the headphones. The fact he has discarded the headphones, does that indicate that he may be coming in?
Well, it wouldn't be a bad move right now. Andre Ware has just struggled all afternoon in trying to move this Ottawa offense, and maybe a burst of new life Sammy can give.
Small takes the punt at the 2-yard line, and he's got nowhere to go. He brings it back to about the 8 after the 48-yard punt by Player, 6 yards on the return. Derek McCready, as I mentioned, missed the last 2 games with a knee injury. He has been forced out of today's ball game again. He's had a tough career in the Canadian Football League. He was forced to miss the entire 1992 season with a knee injury. Well, suited up for the BC Lions in 1993. Dave Denal, the ball carrier, and he crosses the 10, picks up about 4 as he's brought down at the 12.
Dave Denal has shown flashes this afternoon of possibly making something big happen, but just as he seems to be hitting his stride, he's let the football go a couple of times, and it's really hurt Ottawa's offense.
Pickup of 4. It will be 2nd and 6 as Andre Ware continues at quarterback for the Rough Riders. Ware dumps it off for Denal, and Denal loses the football again.
Monroe recovered, though. The center for the Ottawa Rough Riders, and they're going to keep possession of the football.
James Monroe, upfield, leading the blocking, able to pounce on the football after it was knocked loose from Dave Denal.
Well, this is what we haven't seen enough today, is hustling from the Ottawa Rough Riders. But Dave Denal at that time makes an excellent reception. He's jarred loose from the football, but watch James Monroe come in from the left of your screen, hustling, scoops up the loose ball. Ottawa maintains possession.
First and 10 for the Riders. They are between the 22 and the 23-yard line. Williams lines up to the left. Ware looks in that direction. The pass incomplete. Tommy Oates, the defensive back, came over and got a hand on it, but couldn't intercept. Ware has been picked off twice in this football game, both times by Anthony Drawhorn. Andre Ware has attempted to spread the ball around in the first half, but hasn't been able to hit on any really big one. Jesse Small with one reception for 26 yards. That came late in the first half. A warm afternoon in Birmingham. At kickoff, it was 31 degrees. I think it might be even warmer as the sun has broken through the clouds now.
One of the things that
Count violation. Ottawa, number 10. 5-yard penalty, still second.
One of the things that Ottawa's offense has lacked this afternoon is the motion. Receivers are coming up and they're set, so it's an easy read for the defensive backs, but it makes the read even more difficult with Andre Ware having to face that extra defensive back this afternoon.
Odessa Turner goes wide to the right. Ware looks for Turner, and Turner really had to do a job of trying to knock it away from Eddie Davis, because Davis had excellent position on it. And there are penalty flags as there is an altercation behind the line of scrimmage.
And I think Ottawa's going to get a big break out of this one, because Mike Shadd was just standing there and he took a blow to the head from Steven Anderson. And then at the end of the play, Jimmy Reed came in and hit Burns, I believe it was. So it's going to cost him about 25 yards here.
Ken Lazaruk, the official in charge this afternoon here at Legion Field. Second game for Mike Shadd, and they feel he's been a valuable addition to their offensive line in Ottawa.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Birmingham, number 92, 15-yard penalty. First down, Ottawa.
Jack Pardee is not at all happy with that call and the outcome that results in a first down for Ottawa, 15-yard penalty, taking the ball to the 33.
But a very bright play by Mike Shadd and not retaliating, having offsetting penalties. That's the headsiness of a Mike Shadd, sitting there knowing that the penalty was going to be called on Anderson, and he kept his team in the game by picking up a first down.
Shadd, of course, did not play on September 1st when these two teams met at Frank Blair Stadium in Ottawa. Ware fakes inside, trying to swing it out for Dave Denal. It falls short of the intended target, and there's another penalty flag in the play. This one will be holding against Ottawa.
I think Mike Shadd's name will be called once again. That time he had some pretty good grips right in the middle of that middle of the offensive line, working against Sean Brantley. Shadd operates a clothing store in Ottawa with his brother called Shadalax Weston Wear.
Holding, Ottawa, number 58, declined. Second down.
Looking to get a deal on cowboy boots, are you, when we go to Ottawa?
Well, I wore my cowboy boots this afternoon. You know, I was down here in the South. I thought I might run into a cowboy or something.
Penalty has declined. It will be second and 10. 9:48 is the time remaining in the third quarter. 19-0 Birmingham leads. All the scoring in the first half of this football game. This one is picked off by Drawhorn for the third time. 3 interceptions for the safety, Anthony Drawhorn. And he benefited from a deflection as the ball stayed high. And he has 3 interceptions and is a candidate, I would suggest, for Defensive Player of the Week honors in the CFL with his performance today. But there is also a penalty flag on the play. Flag may have come after Drawhorn made the interception and was forced out of bounds. We'll wait for Ken Lazaruk to explain.
Legal block, Birmingham, number 39, 10 yards back from point ball held. First down, Birmingham.
One of the problems that Andre Ware has when he's throwing the football, if you watch his follow-through motion, he keeps the ball high. He doesn't follow through completely. He stands too upright when he's delivering the ball. He has to learn how to come more over the top with the follow-through, sort of like a baseball pitcher, and the ball won't sail on him so much. It's cost him 3 interceptions this afternoon.
He now leads the Barracudas in interceptions with 6 for the season. Matt Dunnigan, 21 touchdown passes this year. What are the odds that Dunnigan might try and put it into the end zone, taking quick advantage of this Anthony Drawhorn interception and the turnover at the 38-yard line of Ottawa?
Don, you know me better than that. You know I'm not a betting man.
4 receivers line up wide to the right. There appears to be a little bit of confusion by the Barracudas. Dunnigan rolls to the right. Dunnigan looks deep for Grant down at the 7-yard line. Touchdown.
But I will take odds on that call.
22 touchdown passes on the year now for Matt Dunnigan. And the 8th touchdown reception of the season for Marcus Grant.
Don, and that's vintage Matt Dunnigan. So often in his career in the CFL with the teams that he's been with, this is what he likes to do. After he gets the big turnover by his defense, go up top. Grant just on a straight fly route, getting up the sideline, able to break it back inside after getting behind Jeter, who has had a very tough afternoon. Once again, Birmingham on the scoreboard with a major.
A 37-yard touchdown as Grant now has caught 6 passes for 143 yards. Zendejas adds the point after with 8:44 remaining in the third quarter. Well, Matt Dunnigan now has 279 career touchdown passes. Only Ron Lancaster with 333 has more. Dunnigan this year moved past Tom Clements into the number 2 position.
Well, you can see that last one to Marcus Grant, just a perfect strike thrown by Matt. Matt has such a strong arm, and being able to deliver the ball on time, on a line, is a great asset for any offense.
The ball stays in bounds. Williams let it bounce. He thought it was going to go out of bounds, but the kick by Zendejas bounced along the sideline, stayed in bounds, and Ottawa is deep in its own zone, 1st and 10 at the 14.
And Andre Ware will trot back on the field once again as we get another look at Matt Dunnigan and that last drive, 1 play, 37 yards. That's the way you like for your offense to click, and Matt has been very efficient this afternoon.
Matt was telling me that his parents usually come over from Dallas for all of the home games of the Barracudas, but he said his father's in charge of a charity golf tournament this weekend, so they could not make the 10-hour drive from Dallas.
It's going to be a golfing weekend for everybody, I guess.
Williams, the injured Ottawa player.
Looked like he might have suffered a cut on that play as he tried to return that kick. And once again, the Ottawa medical staff having to come back out on the field and assist another Rough Rider player. You know, that's just really tough for this organization to have player after player go down, and it's not much you can do about it.
You can get back here and you're looking for a crosser coming because the player can take him almost man all the way up the field.
On your side, camera guy, give us some room, please. I just feel like I'm blitzing. Not going to give us some room. We got to have some room now. Come on, man.
That's defensive coordinator Dick Adams over on the Ottawa bench. 26-0. The Rough Riders certainly are not out of the football game. Now, that may sound strange to say, but remember the first time these two teams met, the Riders looked as though they were going to be blown away on September 1st. They came back with a strong third quarter, took the lead by 16 points, and then collapsed in the fourth quarter.
But one of the keys is, Don, is you have to be able to gain first downs, and Ottawa has just not been able to pick up any first downs here in the second half. And Andre Ware has been struggling, as we showed the last time he delivered the football. He just hasn't been following through, and that has hurt him on his deliveries.
Zendejas with 4 field goals, 2 touchdown passes from Matt Dunnigan to Shredrick Austin in the first half, and to Marcus Grant following Anthony Drawhorn's 3rd interception. Coach Jack Pardee said one of the things that everyone told him when he came into the CFL as a head coach was he would have fun. I don't think it's been that much fun for Jim Gilstrap in Ottawa this year. Dion Strother, the ball carrier, he loses the football. Birmingham claims they've got it. And the officials agree. Well, that in the mind of Jack Pardee may atone for an earlier miscue by Steve Anderson as he recovers the fumble. He took that rough play penalty earlier, a 15-yard penalty that hurt the Barracudas.
Well, Dion Struthers was stripped by Mark Ledbetter, closing in from his left defensive end position, able to get that arm around, knock the ball loose. Anderson folding back from the block off of Shad, picking up the loose ball. Great field position at the 16-yard line for the Barracudas.
I talked about Jack Pardee. It's a lot more fun when your team is winning, and Pardee's team is at 6-5, while Gilstrap's Ottawa Rough Riders are at 2-10.
Well, you can also see the relaxed look on Jack Pardee's face, and you saw Jim Gilstrap earlier. A lot of frustration on that side of the football field.
Dunnigan looking for it all with Eddie Britton in the end zone. The end zone's at Legion Field, because of the dimensions of the stadium, a little shorter than the normal 20 yards in the CFL.
Only got 15 down here, Don, but if you get behind a defender, you should be able to have a quarterback get the ball to you. Britton got behind Matt too much mustard. Maybe he was thinking about that 20-yard end zone.
It will be 2nd and 10. The ball is at the 16.5. Dunnigan operating from the shotgun. This time he swings it out to Keith Woodside. Woodside got away from Charlie Clemens and took the ball down to the 10-yard line. For a time this year in the Winnipeg Blue Bomber camp, Woodside and Charlie Clemens were teammates.
Yeah, they should be very familiar with each other. They probably worked on that pass play there on several occasions. But that's a typical running play for Birmingham, is to get the ball out quick, allow your running back to get into the open field. Nice move by Woodside, but great support that time by Ricks to come up and knock him off stride, and Trudeau come up to finish off the play.
Woodside said he would like to run the ball more, but he understands the scheme in Birmingham, and he said he's quite happy that he sees the ball a lot as a pass receiver. Now Zendejas, who has had a perfect afternoon, will attempt his 5th field goal of the day. And this would be a career best for Zendejas if he makes it. And he does. He's now 5 for 5. Twice this year, as I mentioned earlier, against Calgary and Baltimore, he kicked 4 field goals in the game, and once in his NFL career, he also did it.
Well, we talked about Zendejas coming into this game with the 4, and now his 5th. We talked about Mike Shad's Western apparel store, Shadilac, earlier. Zendejas' family, also a family of kickers, has a restaurant chain of 8 restaurants in Arizona and California. And when they went out and found Luis in Arizona, he was managing one of the restaurants and came in to kick for the Barracudas.
5 for 5 this afternoon. Now let's join Mark Lee.
Don, here's a look at our schedule next week on the CFL on CBC. We head back north to Canada Saturday at 8 Eastern, Saskatchewan at Toronto to play the lowly Argos. And then Sunday, Calgary in Winnipeg to play the Bombers at 2 Eastern. That would be Winnipeg's 5th game in a grueling 20 days.
Really a tough grind for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. After a 64-10 loss Friday night at Commonwealth Stadium, they have back-to-back games with Calgary. Tuesday nights at McMahon Stadium, and then Sunday afternoon at Winnipeg Stadium. And the Stampeders own the best record in the CFL, 10-1.
And they don't seem to be having any weaknesses in that team. They just signed Tyrone Williams, a young wide receiver out of Western Ontario who had a couple stints in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys, Buffalo Bills, and Chicago Bears. And he just wanted to get on the field and play. And with that receiving core that they have, in addition to Tyrone Williams, that's going to spell a lot of trouble for the rest of the CFL secondaries.
They already have 2,000-yard receivers in Sapunjas and Pitts. Ed Small is the kickoff returner. Pretty good coverage again by Birmingham. as they stop the return attempt at the 34-yard line, a 17-yard run back. Glesby is the man who came up to make the tackle. He basically works on special teams. He's a backup defensive back.
Well, Sammy Garza and Jay Macia still on the sideline, and Andre Ware back on the field. This game seems to be Andre Ware's to go the 60 minutes in this afternoon. And in a way, you have to see what type of fertility this young man has. You know, can he stomach it? It's been a tough afternoon. Can he make something happen? At least get one touchdown on the scoreboard.
Fake inside. Andre Ware throws for Odessa Turner at the 45-yard line, and he makes the catch for what should be a first down. It appears he's beyond the forward marker. And that's the signal from referee Ken Lazarus. Early in the ball game, Ware lost a receiver that he obviously had been working a lot with during the practice this week, Ray Alexander. And that's a big blow to the passing attack of the Ottawa Rough Riders. First and 10 now. Ware swings it out to Struther coming out of the backfield. Struther got a block upfield from Bjorn and managed to take it down to the 46 of the Birmingham Barracudas.
You know, Andre Ware, when he's been successful this afternoon, watch his throwing motion as he delivers the football. He has a nice touch on the soft underneath route, able to come more over the top, get the ball to Struthers. But he has to be more consistent. When he's throwing the ball deep, he has to follow through. Otherwise, the ball has been floating on him.
Struther was signed on September 5th after coming to the team from Denver. And Gilstrap was saying he's the blocking back we've been looking for. Odessa Turner, a receiver who has been a very key factor in the passing attack of the Rough Riders all season, makes the catch for another Ottawa first down inside the 35-yard line.
You know, if he can get in groove with this offense and the receivers, and he's only been in camp, as you say, about 10 days, he can make things happen because he got the ball there on the break. A lot of quarterbacks will wait till the receivers made the break to deliver the football. That ball was in the air before he came out of the break.
Sideline pattern again to Turner, and Turner is going to get about 8 more. Fernando Thomas, who plays the corner on the left side, came up to make the tackle on Turner.
This has been the second best drive of the game for Ottawa. The last time they were in this position, Dave Denal fumbled in the second quarter when they got down inside the 30-yard line.
Well, it hasn't been as lopsided as the score would suggest. Twice, Ottawa has driven deep into Birmingham territory, only to lose the ball on downs one time and on a fumble. And here's another fumble by Andre Ware, but I think they're going to rule it an incomplete pass as he was hit while he was in the motion of throwing.
Excellent pressure. Andre had been getting comfortable in the pocket, but look at the blitz from the Cougars. They bring 6 players up front. Peoples comes around the corner, able to get him once again. He's had an outstanding game this afternoon defensively, along with Anthony Drawhorn.
The play of Peoples has really improved over the last few weeks. His 3 sacks against Baltimore, his best performance of the year, and he has had 2 sacks this afternoon against Ottawa. A third down gamble. The give is to Struthers, and he stumbles forward and will be very close to a first down. As a matter of fact, from here, it looks as though he's got it.
Start calling you Hawkeye or something. But great surge by the offensive line and great leg drive by Struthers. They desperately needed to pick that up, Don. They've come up short on many occasions this afternoon, but they picked up the first down.
First and 10. The ball is at the 22 and a half. 3:54 remaining in the third quarter. Swing pass for Dave Denal. It'll be a gain of about 3 yards. Make it 2nd and 7 from just inside the 20-yard line.
Andre Ware again getting a chance to sit in the pocket. See the follow through, and the ball is able to get there. It's a nice low pass, maybe a little too low, but the follow through is a key because the ball will not float on you, and the receivers do not have to leave their feet to make the reception.
2nd and 7, Ottawa. High throw intended for Ed Small. And he couldn't pull that in. Now Coach Jim Gilstrap sends out his field goal unit. The last time he had the field goal unit on the field It was a fake, a third down gamble with Macias throwing the ball to Denal, who at the end of the first half looked upfield really before the ball arrived. But I think this time they will attempt 3 points. Wayne Lamley will be trying a 26-yard field goal.
You have to get some points out of one of these drives, Don, and Wayne should get this one through the uprights.
And it is good as the Ottawa Rough Riders finally break the goose egg with 3:04 remaining in the third quarter. 29-3, Birmingham leads. Birmingham leads Ottawa. The Riders just getting on the board with a Wayne Lamley field goal. Matt Dunnigan has thrown 2 touchdown passes this afternoon. But take a look at Dunnigan's career statistics in this his 13th season. He's completed 2,817, attempted 5,053, 279 touchdown passes, 200 passes have been intercepted. Only the second quarterback in the history of the CFL to pass for better than 40,000 yards. And in his first couple of years in the CFL with Edmonton, he was noted as a running quarterback.
Well, he was. When he came in, and a lot of young quarterbacks will struggle in that, and when they don't recognize things right away, they want to take the ball in and run with it. Matt Dunnigan, though, has grown into one of the more polished passers.
Well, it was offside Ottawa on the kickoff, and Birmingham has opted to have the Riders kick off again. Those are the numbers for Dunnigan this afternoon. I talked about Dunnigan's rushing ability. In 1984 with Edmonton, he ran for 732 yards and 85 for 737. And there were times when he would take on linebackers. I think as Matt has grown older, he has decided that is not such a wise idea.
I think all those zippers on his body really advised him of that. You know, when you look at his body, he has a few scars and from going under the knife, but as you grow up and you learn that there's things out there that you can accomplish with your arm, and he has seen the record books in his sights over the past couple of seasons, and he set his mark for that, and that's where he's headed. And before his career is over, he should eclipse all the CFL passing marks, and Matt has had a fine career.
There were those who suggested that he was going to have many of the same problems that plagued him in both Winnipeg and Toronto, his previous stops in the CFL, when he suffered a broken index finger in training camp and missed the first 2 games of the season. But he has been extremely sharp since returning to the lineup of the Birmingham Barracudas. So Wayne Lamley positions the ball back at the 30-yard line for his second kickoff attempt. This one might also go out of bounds. It does, right into the arms of one of the assistant coaches on the sidelines, and I'm sure that Birmingham will opt to have a third kickoff from another 5 yards further back. John Jenkins made quite a nice catch.
And what's so tough about this for the cover team is that they have to hustle down on a full sprint every time. It might be at the point where Wayne just might want to just nail this one straight down the middle of the field and let them go down and try to make a tackle.
On the benches, they have fans to try and cool things down. Many young fans in attendance this afternoon. At this time of year in the Canadian Football League in the Northern Division, many teams think about having propane heaters on the bench to help keep the players warm.
Well, I don't think anybody's thinking propane around here. They're thinking more like air conditioning, even though you got the big fans. They're like, can you get a mistifier back there and spray a little of that mist around and cool us down a bit? It's been quite humid down here. We got a torrential downpour last night, but it has dried up and the skies opened up, and it's been beautiful all afternoon here in Birmingham, Don.
That's 3 in a row now.
Matt Dunnigan looking forward to the 2 games his team has against San Antonio on October 8th here at Legion Field, and in San Antonio, the final game of the season on October 29th. Those could be 2 very key games in the playoff aspirations of both teams. Matt Cody on this third kickoff by Ottawa. Cody zigs and zags to the 53-yard line with 2:49 remaining in the third quarter. A 21-yard run back for Cody, and that's where Birmingham will scrimmage. They've had pretty good field position almost every time Dunnigan has trotted out on the field.
Well, when you force a team to kick off from its own 25-yard line, it's a telling point that you're going to have great field position. But you were talking about that San Antonio-Birmingham matchup. Both of these teams will be vying for second spot in the Southern Division, so it's going to be very critical when they match up who wins the first game of that series.
Dunnigan throws deep. Oh, in and out of the arms of Shredrick Austin. His very first catch in the CFL, and this his debut for Birmingham, a 41-yard touchdown reception. And had he been able to squeeze that one, he might have gone for 6 more. It could be, though, that Jeter may have just deflected the toss of Matt Dunnigan.
Well, it was an excellent effort by Jeter of coming off his man at the last moment to make a play on the ball, and he may have distracted the receiver just enough the last second.
2nd and 10. Dunnigan fakes, now looks deep, now is forced to pull it in. The man he was looking for over in the far side of the field was being defended by Mark Ricks. I think that's the intent that Dunnigan had initially, but when he saw that Ricks was defending against Britton, he had no alternative but to pull it down and try and run for a first down himself, and he failed to do that.
Well, Matt Dunnigan that time was holding the ball. The offensive line was giving him the time. Comes with the pump fake here. Looks up, has to pull it back down as McCready got up in his face. But watch the hit he takes from Kropke at the end of that play. And Matt Dunnigan has had injury problems throughout his career. Do you think about at this point in the game, looking at one of the backup quarterbacks?
Well, Jimmy Klingler saw action in the first 2 games of the year when Dunnigan was hurt. Penalty flags are down, and it looks as though Ottawa may have committed another mental error with too many men in the field, as Ricks brings the ball back to the 20-yard line. "13 players were out there for Ottawa, and if that's the penalty, it will be first down, Birmingham."
That's just poor concentration by the players. You have to understand who is out on a particular team, even though Ottawa's had...
Too many players. Ottawa, 10-yard penalty from point of line scrimmage. First down, Birmingham.
They've had a lot of injuries this afternoon. You have to know who's backing up for who when you make those substitutions. And at least the deepest guy on the field should do a count-off. So if you have too many men, he can direct someone off the field or even possibly call a timeout.
You see that happen when teams suffer injuries and a backup is forced into a ball game, that type of thing. And there is at times some confusion on the bench as to who should be on, who should be off. And now we have another injured Ottawa player, Dan Murphy.
It looks like just the leg cramp with Dan Murphy, the way they're working on that hamstring right there, because the training staff has had much of the workout this afternoon as any player on the field for Ottawa. They've been on and off the field on a consistent basis.
It hasn't been a great afternoon for the Ottawa Rough Riders, but they do get a break in the schedule next week. And then they really have a tough grind. They have San Antonio at home on September 30th. They travel to Memphis on the 8th of October. They travel to San Antonio 4 days later. Then they have Hamilton at home on the 21st. And they conclude the season in Winnipeg on the 29th. And Andre Ware must be sitting there thinking, I wonder when I'm going to be able to work with the same receivers for a football game that I have practiced with during the week.
Well, Sammy Garza can fully understand what Andre Ware's had to go through here this afternoon working with this Ottawa offense. With all the changes that they've had back and forth, they just haven't had a consistent lineup. As you spoke about earlier, Don, 7 changes from last week's ball game coming into this afternoon's ball game.
So it will be 1st and 10 Birmingham from the 45 of Ottawa with 1:26 remaining in the third quarter. Dunnigan is under pressure and he's knocked down. John Kropke may have just caught enough of Dunnigan to push him over. And there are also penalty flags downfield.
It looks like it might be another foolish mistake. Anthony Bonner was tied up down there at the end of the play with Long. It's going to be very interesting. Face mask, I think, against Ottawa.
29-3 is the score with 1:16 remaining in the third quarter.
Face mask. Ottawa, number 22. 15-yard penalty. First down, Birmingham.
Well, just when the Rough Riders come up with what appears to be one of their best defensive plays of the afternoon, a face mask violation against Bonner provides Birmingham with a first down at the 30-yard line.
And that's a defensive back working downfield against a receiver who is not even in the route. Frustration, lack of concentration. And you can't have that when you're struggling as a young team. You have to be in the game every play mentally.
Handoff inside to Woodside, and Woodside is stopped after a pickup of about 3 yards. Chris Sangaris came up from his linebacking position to make the tackle. The only real passing threat that the Rough Riders have had this afternoon has been that man, Odessa Turner, following the injury to Ray Alexander.
Well, he's on the sideline cheering on his defensive teammates, saying it's a tough grind, and it has been a tough grind for Ottawa all afternoon. They need to find a way to get something uplifting out of this game before it's over.
Birmingham hasn't had a great deal of success on second down conversions. Let's see what Dunnigan can do on 2nd and 7. He's buried. He goes down with Lloyd Lewis and Horace Morris both coming in on him. Lewis, the sack leader this year for the Ottawa Rough Riders.
And Horace Morris was right behind him with 3 coming into this game, picks up his 4th. You'll see him at the bottom of your screen, just a simple speed rush as he comes inside. Dunnigan has to duck. Lewis right there to wrap up. Nice play by the Ottawa defense.
Coach Gilstrap was saying the thing he likes about Morris is the upfield pressure he can apply. He has speed, and he got through quickly on Matt Dunnigan. So Zendejas, who is 5 for 5, will now attempt his 6th field goal of the day, and this will be a 43-yard kick, and this should be the final play of the third quarter. It's long enough, but it's wide. And Ottawa will concede a single point as Remy Trudel drops to one knee. So it's 30-3 for Birmingham over Ottawa, with 15 minutes remaining here at Legion Field in Birmingham. They start following football at a very young age in the Birmingham area, the state of Alabama. Boy, it's a way of life down here. And the football fans really weren't too pleased at the performance of Alabama, UAB, and Auburn yesterday. All 3 teams lost.
All 3 local teams. There are people walking around here hanging their heads talking about that all day last night.
Odessa Turner on the receiving end of the throw, and he takes the ball up to the 53-yard line. But they've had more to cheer about with the performance of the Barracudas as they lead 30-3 this afternoon.
Well, you spoke about Odessa earlier being the only receiving threat this afternoon, but you look at the net offense of Ottawa, only 197 yards, but the 6 turnovers. That will kill any offense. You cannot have 6 turnovers and expect to win the football game.
Odessa Turner, 7 receptions for 65 yards, as he has been the key receiver for Andre Ware. We're looking deep down the sidelines and in and out of the hands of Williams. Oh my, it's been that type of day for Ottawa. Andre Ware delivered it perfectly to Williams. He dropped it. Earlier we saw Dave Denal drop it. And what can Jim Gilstrap do but shake his head?
Well, you don't get too many options offensively to get big plays in the games. Williams had gotten behind coverage. Ware laid it out perfectly, hit him in stride. Williams forgot to catch the football. Ware took the punishment at the end of the play. And frustration.
And Williams was in full stride. That one had 6 written all over it. Well, he'll go to his most reliable receiver, Odessa Turner, who takes a hit out of bounds. And a late hit that results in a skirmish on the sidelines, and there is going to be a penalty flag on this play. But Odessa Turner took a late hit on the sidelines and went flying into a large metal box over on the Ottawa side of the field.
He went into one of those fans, Don, those big blowing fans that they have on the sideline, as he was driven out of bounds just after he made that reception. You'll get a shot of it here. Looks like Andre Strode, who comes out as Turner makes the reception. He thinks he's closer to the sideline, but he's still in the field of play when Strode hits him, loses his balance and falls head first into that big fan. And then they get an unnecessary roughness penalty on Mark Ledbetter. Well, they said 94, and Ottawa doesn't have a 94.
Chris Sangaris.
Okay.
But I don't think they called the penalty against Sangaris. It took place, there was no penalty call on the hit that sent Odessa Turner into the fan. The infraction took place after, when the players gathered over there, and
rough play on the sideline.
Rough play took place, and as a result, the ball comes back to the 53-yard line. 1st and 10 for Ottawa.
Once again, a mental mistake, Don. Cost him field position.
But Turner is up, which is a good sign for Ottawa, but he must stay out for 3 plays, and Strother, the ball carrier, gets up to the midfield stripe.
That's odd, you know, even with that rule such as it is, it's when a player has to be assisted off the field. Odessa Turner was on the sideline when his injury took place. Seems like he should be able to come back in the game. He didn't slow down the play of the game.
Kenneth Rare is in the ball game as Odessa Turner's replacement, as the Rough Riders are forced to do some juggling with the receiving corps. Andre Ware gets away from the initial charge, but cannot escape Steve Henley, who finally puts him down back at the 41. Well, it's been that type of day for the Ottawa Rough Riders. They take a step forward and then 2 back. 12:41 remains in the game. You see Ray Alexander, he was hurt early in the first half of this football game. He's already out of the game. Odessa Turner shaken up, but it looks as though he will return. Good kick by Lamley, taken by Matt Cody. He's looking for the blocking to form along the sideline, and then he's forced out of bounds as he gets up to the 32-yard line. A 13-yard run back after a 50-yard kick. Not only has Odessa Turner been Ottawa's best receiver this afternoon, he may also be their most vocal player today. He's had things to say on the field and on the sidelines. He was not happy when he was knocked into the fan over on the far side of the field, and then had to sit out for the required 3 plays.
Well, maybe that's what they need more of as a team, is people to be more vocal and inspirational, like an Odessa Turner. And instead of players sitting along the bench with their heads hanging, wondering what's going wrong, they should be out there trying to fix it.
Now Andre Ware shakes his head at some of the misfortune that has struck his team this afternoon. Eddie Britton could not hang on. He was attempting to make a juggling move in the football as he cut back inside. Dwayne Knight had dropped back to defend, and Ricks was there as well.
Eddie Britton's a fine little receiver, but he makes such crisp route that he breaks inside, and Ricks couldn't close on him. Had 2 attempts at that football before Martin came across to bat it away at the last moment. Great break for Ottawa, because Birmingham would have had that ball in great field position.
11:49 remaining. 30-3. Birmingham leads. Dunnigan on 2nd and 10. Gets away. Throws complete to Long. And Long is going to be close to a first down, although it looks as though he's about a yard short.
Well, Lloyd Lewis thought that he had Matt Dunnigan, but Matt's a very strong quarterback, and he was able to pull out of the grasp of Lloyd Lewis and get that ball downfield to Long.
Well, let's see where they spot the ball. His forward progress had carried up close to the 39-yard line. That's where they had to get to achieve a first down.
Having a little problems with the chain on the sideline. The crew couldn't decide whether they wanted to bring it out or not.
Now, if they don't have a first down, I think the Cudas will probably go after it, but they don't really have a short yardage offense.
Well, you got Matt Dunnigan back there with the bull move he just put on Lloyd Lewis. I think he could pick up a yard on his own.
It is just shy of a first down. Dunnigan, taking advantage of the measurement, went over to the sidelines to confer with Jack Pardee and John Jenkins. They were together as the head coach and offensive coordinator when Houston, with Andre Ware at the controls, was establishing all the NCAA records, leading to Ware's Heisman Trophy selection in 1989.
That coaching combination established over 100 offensive passing records down at the University of Houston. Just an outstanding feat for any college program.
Woodside, the setback behind Dunnigan. He gets the ball, gets the first down. Sangaris put the hit on Woodside, but Woodside was able to spin up to the 40-yard line for a Birmingham first down with 10:52 remaining in the football game here at Legion Field. Sangaris began his career with Winnipeg, went to Toronto, was traded to Ottawa on August the 7th, is starting as the middle linebacker. Dunnigan running the ball, and this is going to be big yardage for the Birmingham quarterback as he takes it down to the 42. 28 yards on the romp by Dunnigan.
Well, this is what Matt Dunnigan has been doing all day and running off the defenders. They have not been watching that anxiously, and he saw that he had an opportunity for the naked boot out the backside, and there wasn't a defender in sight in red, and Matt Dunnigan was easily able to pick up 30 yards on the play.
He now is the leading rusher in the game. He's also the leading passer in the game, but couldn't connect with Matt Cody. Dunnigan is over 100 rushing yards. In his CFL career, he has never rushed for less than 200. Well, one year he had only 190 yards in Toronto, but he only played 8 games that season. He's just over 100 in this football game in total yards for the season.
Well, he's become a more mature passer as he's gotten old, and you can say that last pass to Britton, it was a perfect strike. Britton just couldn't pull it in.
Dunnigan with good protection looking for Britton. And there's going to be a penalty flag as Ricks grabbed the jersey of Britton down in the corner as Britton was trying to cut into the end zone. Dunnigan waiting for the penalty to be assessed. So is John Jenkins waiting to see what play he'll call from down at the 1.
Mark Ricks has had a very tough afternoon, and normally defensive backs will just grab a receiver as he's running by him instead of giving up a touchdown. But when you give him the ball inside the 5-yard line, you might as well just let him make the attempt. Maybe he would have even dropped the football.
First and goal, Birmingham from the 4-yard line. Cody Long and Britton all come out to the left. Dunnigan operates from the shotgun. End zone pass to Cody for the major score. Matt Dunnigan has his 3rd touchdown pass of the day. His 23rd of the season. And Matt Cody as his 3rd touchdown catch of the year.
Well, Matt Dunnigan puts this ball on a rope. Watch the gun right here by Matt Dunnigan. He threads between 2 defenders. Cody right there for the reception. wonderful drive mastered by Matt Dunnigan, marching all the way down the field to put the Cougars up with their 36th point of the afternoon.
Well, the Barracudas with this victory are going to keep pace with the San Antonio Texans. The Texans winners last night over the Toronto Argonauts by a score of 42-21. They have 14 points. Birmingham with this win will have 14 points. Memphis has an opportunity to perhaps create a three-way tie when they play Saskatchewan later today. Seven plays, covered 81 yards for the Birmingham touchdown. The big play in the drive, a run by Matt Dunnigan for 28 yards, but it was his touchdown pass to Cody that capped this one from the 4-yard line.
And Don, it seemed that everything has been a fingertip away this afternoon for the Ottawa Rough Riders. As you see right there, as Knight tries to deflect that ball away from Cody, but he wasn't there to be had.
Small takes the ball on the kickoff return from the 15-yard line. Small may have run into one of his own players on the far side of the field in the vicinity of the 35. A 21-yard run back, and we remind you that immediately following this telecast from Legion Field, we'll be going to Woodbine for the Molson Export Million, a 1 1/8 mile race on the dirt. The morning odds favorite, Peaks and Valley. The field also includes Queen's Plate winner Regal Discovery. Kirk McLean, the outstanding goaltender for the Vancouver Canucks, card owner of Regal Discovery. That will come up immediately following this telecast. The pass intended for Dave Denal. That's incomplete. It will be 2nd and 10.
Once again, Denal with the poor body mechanics and trying to catch the ball. He couldn't figure out how he wanted to bring it in, and he let the ball again get to his body, and it fell to the ground.
Matt Dunnigan having his right knee checked. I was in the Birmingham dressing room prior to the game, and Dunnigan had an ice bag on the knee. He said he had a small nick from earlier in the season that was causing him some discomfort, but nothing too serious. And Shondae Peoples has his 3rd sack of the day as he takes down Andre Ware back at the 20-yard line, and indeed it has been war for Andre Ware this afternoon.
He's felt like he's been in the middle of a war zone because he kept retreating and he could not find an open receiver. But what you have to do as a quarterback is you have to stop and allow your offensive tackles to push the pressure around you. That sack was as much Andre Ware's fault as it was offensive lineman. You have to step up in, allow the pressure to go behind, then deliver the pass.
Andre Ware in his first CFL start has taken a bit of a beating here at Legion Field this afternoon. Britton waits for the ball at the 37-yard line. Good move to try and spin to the outside, but the Ottawa player was having none of it. Struther and McKee were downfield along with Marriott to make the tackle. There's the ice bag back on the knee of Matt Dunnigan, and that means that Jimmy Klingler will come into the ball game to mop up for the Birmingham Barracudas. You know, Matt Dunnigan not only ranks number 2 in touchdown passes in the CFL to Ron Lancaster, he has scored 75 touchdowns himself. He's now number 3 on the all-time list for rushing touchdowns behind George Reed and Normie Clark. Klingler's first pass intended for long. It's incomplete.
Jimmy Klingler started the first 2 games of the season for the Birmingham Barracudas when Matt Dunnigan was out with that broken index finger, and he's been sitting ever since Matt come back, so he could probably be a little rusty coming in and look like Matt might be heading towards the locker room a little early this afternoon and get some early treatment on that leg.
Klingler was at the Saskatchewan training camp in 1994. There appeared to be some movement at the line of scrimmage. The pass is behind the intended receiver. It looked as though Charlie Clemens may have jumped. Cody was the man that Klingler was looking for. Dunnigan has certainly done his job today.
He's done a fine job. Matt Dunnigan can be very proud of the afternoon performances that he's put on the day here at Legion Field, directing his team to 37 points on the scoreboard.
Number 48, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down repeated.
And Clemens was offside. Dunnigan will now get ready for next week's encounter with the Memphis Mad Dogs. Then they've got Shreveport, San Antonio, Shreveport, Edmonton, and San Antonio on the schedule. Little swing pass. And coming out of the backfield is Keith Woodside, but it looked as though it may be offside against Birmingham and Eddie Britton.
It's going to be a procedure call. Ottawa
League of procedure. Birmingham, number 1. Decline. 3rd down.
So Ottawa declines the penalty with 6:51 remaining here at Legion Field. Every game over the balance of the schedule is going to be very important for all the teams in the Southern Division. Only the top 3 make the postseason. And right now, depending on what happens in the game between Memphis and Saskatchewan, there could be a 3-way tie for second place among San Antonio, Birmingham, and Memphis. Ricks waits for players' 3rd down kick. At the 13-yard line, he finds a hole, gets a block, and now he may get that extra block and will, and he'll go all the way. He looks back, we look down, see no flags, and this is a touchdown run of 97 yards for Mark Ricks.
Some redemption for Mark Ricks. He's had a tough afternoon playing defensive back today, but he finally gets a chance to shine on a punt return in a big moment for the Ottawa Rough Riders this afternoon.
And you saw Coach Jim Gilstrap signaling go for the 2-point conversion.
You get a great look at it right here as players get clustered up out of their lanes, and Rick gets a couple of moves, but the block right here at the end by James Ellingson, for Ricks to get into the open field, and he's off to the races into the touchdown, in the end zone for the touchdown for the major for Ottawa.
The Rough Riders this year have only been averaging 18.8 points per game offensively. They had 46 points in their previous game with Birmingham, but they gave up 56. Today they've given up 37, and so far have scored just 9. Ware's 2-point convert attempt over the head of Odessa Turner. Even had he made the catch, he would have been out of the end zone. 5:51 is the time remaining at Legion Field. I talked about the playoff battle in the Southern Division, where only 3 teams make it. In the Northern Division, 5 teams will make it. And Saskatchewan, with a win today, could move into a tie for the final playoff spot in the North with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Winnipeg at 4-8, Saskatchewan 3-8 heading into today's game. Calgary, BC, Hamilton, and Edmonton all ahead of Winnipeg and Saskatchewan. None of the teams really in the North out of the playoff race. But things are going to become a little more difficult for Ottawa with this loss this afternoon, as they will drop to 2-11. Klingler continues at quarterback. He's going deep, and the catch is made by Grant down at the 41-yard line. 42-yard reception to Marcus Grant.
Marcus Grant has just had an outstanding day, coming into this game needing only 25 yards to become Nakuda's first 1,000-yard receiver in a season, and he's just extended this game this afternoon well over 100 yards in reception, closing in on 200 actually. Great game by Grant.
7 catches for 185 yards for Grant. Klingler goes to Britton. He makes the catch at the 21-yard line for another Birmingham first down. So Klingler goes right to Grant for 42, throws to the left side for 20 yards to Britton, and puts Birmingham in scoring position again. First and 10 from just outside the 20.
Ottawa's just had problems all afternoon with their secondary. They've given too much of a cushion to the receivers for the Barracudas, and they've taken full advantage of it.
End zone throw intended for long, incomplete.
Just too much heat on that last pass to Long because he was open on just a straight up route as he got within the seam of the halfback in the corner, and Klingler just threw that one too high.
His brother David, a quarterback with Cincinnati. He's trying to establish himself as a quarterback in the Canadian Football League with Birmingham. Pass complete to Long. Long is met as he tries to spin off a couple of people at the 15-yard line.
And you speak about his brother David, who was a former #1 draft pick out of the University of Houston, was within that quarterback procession. There was Andre Ware, then there was David Klingler, then Jimmy Klingler, the quarterbacks that worked under Jack Pardee, John Jenkins down at the University of Houston.
Ball is at the 14-yard line. And on this 3rd and 3 play, Zendejas will come into the ball game to try for field goal number 6. He had an opportunity earlier, but missed. It went for a single point on the final play of the 3rd quarter. Now he will attempt a 21-yard field goal. And this one he puts through. So he now has a career high 6 field goals. Actually 5 was a career high, but he extends that mark to 6. Could have been a 7 for 7 day for Zendejas, but he had that one miscue on the final play of the 3rd quarter. It's been a rough afternoon for Andre Ware. He has at times delivered the ball perfectly to his receivers, but they have been unable to hang on.
Well, the consistency is the key, and that's the thing that Ottawa has not been able to find this afternoon. They would have 1, 2, 3 good plays in a drive, then they would come up with the unfortunate mishap. They've had the fumbles, they've had the drop passes. They just not have been able to keep it in sync consistently throughout the length of the field.
3:17 remaining here at Legion Field. The Rough Riders will head home immediately after this football game. As I said, they have a bye next week before returning to action on the 30th of September against San Antonio. Jack Pardee, in talking about his secondary, said that at the start of the year he was looking for some veteran players, but he said he could not compromise on ability. And the young players he had at training camp impressed him so much that they were able to knock some of the veterans out of the battle for a job with the team. But the one key veteran has been a key player today, and that's Anthony Drawhorn at the safety position with 3 interceptions. This is small on the return, but there is a penalty flag on the field. Charlie Clemens came on the field late. I'm just wondering if this may be an illegal substitution call. There is also an injured Birmingham player. Mike James is down. Referee Ken Lazaruk will confer with his officials before making the announcement as to the infraction.
There's no infraction on the play. Referee on the sideline. The clock should read 3:07. Please reset the clock to 3:07. It'll be Ottawa's ball. First down.
So the clock is reset to 3:07. James is up and able to run off the field. It may have been a slight cramp that took him down. It has been a very warm afternoon here at Legion Field, with the temperature at game time 31 degrees, and I think it's gone up some since then. Jack Pardee has to be very happy with the way his team has performed today. They've played very well defensively. And that was an area of some concern coming into this contest for Pardee and the Barracudas. Sean Ralph is in at the tailback position. He has taken over from Dave Donnell, and he'll get a couple of yards with 2:50 remaining. Assuming there is not the greatest comeback in the history of the CFL in the final 250, Birmingham will move into a tie with San Antonio for second place. Memphis, trailing Saskatchewan 7-0, could create a three-way tie for second place with a victory today. But Birmingham pretty much controls its own destiny over the final 6 weeks of the season. They've got 5 games against Southern Division opponents, 2 against San Antonio, 1 against Memphis, and 2 against Shreveport. Intended for Odessa Turner, he couldn't make the over-the-shoulder catch. And once again, Ottawa is forced to send out the punting unit.
Very frustrating afternoon from all sides for Ottawa today. Andre Ware put that ball on the money where it needed to be. Odessa Turner, normally a sure-handed receiver, could not make the reception. Wayne Lamley, who's done the bulk of the work this afternoon for Ottawa, trying to keep them in this game, has to punt once again.
94-90.
Lamley kicking it towards the sidelines. Anthony Drawhorn handled it and is downed at the 18-yard line. A 44-yard kick, a 2-yard run back.
Anthony Drawhorn has had an outstanding day today for Birmingham with the 2 interceptions. Make that 3 interceptions, got the 3rd one off a tip. He, Shante Peoples, 3 quarterback sacks, a fumble recovery. Matt Dunnigan passing for his 7th 300-yard passing game of the season. 3 touchdowns to go along with that. This Birmingham Barracuda team is a very strong and developing football team, and as the season winds down in the CFL, they're going to be one to contend with here in the Southern Division.
With the no yards penalty, it's 1st and 10 from the 32. Handoff inside to Keith Woodside. Immediately following today's telecast, we remind you that we will be switching to Woodbine Racetrack in Toronto for the running of the Molson Export Million, a 1 1/8 mile race for $1 million purse, $600,000 to the winner, and the morning odds favorite Peaks and Valley. And the field also includes Queen's Plate winner Regal Discovery. Pass is incomplete. It was intended for long. You may have caught a glimpse just a moment ago of a statue that was erected here in Birmingham. They call this the Magic City. Steel was such a major part of the local economy that this massive iron statue of Vulcan, the mythical Roman god of the forge, was erected. In the United States, it's the 2nd tallest statue behind the Statue of Liberty. It's at the top Red Mountain overlooking the city's skyline. So that's your historical data for today from Birmingham.
You know all the U.S. geographical monuments, don't you?
Third down punt. Ricks, who scored the 97-yard touchdown, unable to handle this one, and he's forced out of bounds with 1:44 remaining. That was a 48-yard punt, just 5 on the return.
Well, Ottawa once again with a chance trying to get something to salvage anything they can out of today's game. Andre Ware will march back on the field with his offensive troops to see if he can pick up a couple of first downs. They haven't had much success here other than the Ricks punt return. It's been a very tough day for this Ottawa Rough Rider Football Club.
And a good day for Birmingham, and their mascot has had fun here at Legion Field. Those final seconds in a game such as this can't tick away quickly enough for Ottawa. Struther, the ball carrier, he ran into Sam Peoples, but Peoples was able to hang on to make the tackle. Talking with Peoples, he said he had quite an experience in the camp of the San Francisco 49ers, trying to gain a defensive back position, working against Jerry Rice.
Yeah, that can be an education for anybody, rookie and less known a veteran. So, you know, he really had a lot of experience coming in here working against the great Jerry Rice. So working against anyone else, I think he would think about it as a day at the beach.
Sam Peoples and Shante Peoples are not related. Nigel Williams makes the catch, and this should be an Ottawa first down.
And Nigel Williams is still down on the play, grasping his right knee. This has been an ongoing problem all afternoon for the Ottawa Rough Riders. Players down, holding on to those joints.
They might not have enough receivers to finish the game the way they've gone down today, although Odessa Turner was able to return. Ball was nicked and was able to come back, but Ray Alexander, the key man in the passing attack for the Rough Riders, went out in the first half. And the Ottawa Rough Riders can only hope that he is not going to be lost for the remaining games of the 1995 season. 1:16 is the time remaining here at Legion Field in Birmingham.
Well, Don, this is a game that's really going to be tough. We spoke about Ottawa coming into this game having to make 7 roster changes this week for facing Birmingham. They're going to be forced with that same situation next week in the game that they have. And, you know, it's becoming a shortage of bodies when you look around the CFL, especially for the northern teams, having to find players to replace the injured players that they have. And it's going to be a tough week for Coach Gilstrap.
You know, I talked earlier about Jack Pardee saying when he was hired by Birmingham, people told him he would have fun as a coach in the CFL. He said one of the differences between the CFL and the NFL is in the Canadian Football League, it's not a computer game. You can have fun. He said in the NFL, nobody ever mentioned the word fun to him. And he had 11 years in the NFL. Ken Abrere makes the catch. There's also a penalty flag on the play. Abrere is taken down at the 50 of Birmingham.
Well, Ken Abrere fighting back from off-season knee surgery, and he had been one of the steadier receivers in the CFL, former Eastern All-Star with the Hamilton Ticats, coming back over to Ottawa this season.
Legal contact, eligible receiver, Birmingham number 28 is declined. First down.
53 seconds remaining, and we remind you, immediately following the telecast, we will switch to Woodbine Racetrack in Toronto and the Molson Export Million. Odessa Turner, who has been the favorite target all day of quarterback Andre Ware, makes another catch. This one at the 45-yard line. He has now caught 9 for 84 yards. Second and 5. Odessa Turner again. He'll have another first down. Taken out of bounds by Peoples. Sam Peoples.
And we have a flag once again on the play. And one of the things you get here is Andre Ware and Odessa Turner consistently hooking up, and you have a tendency to forget about the rest of the receivers in your receiving core. And it's been a steady diet to Odessa Turner, and he's a great receiver.
Legal procedure. Ottawa, number 81, 5-yard penalty.
But you really blame Ware? Because other receivers have dropped passes this afternoon.
They have dropped passes. Kenny Abrere has come to the game. He's normally a sure-handed receiver. Nigel Williams have dropped passes, and that has really hurt. You lost Ray Alexander, and that was a huge blow to your receiving core.
Inside toss to Strother, and Strother will take the ball up to the 43 of Birmingham with 25 seconds remaining.
This is one of those games for Ottawa. I don't think it can end soon enough. They really have struggled on both sides of the football, and Andre Ware is one more attempt here.
Inside handoff on the third down gamble to Strother, and he is met head on by Angelo Snipes. And they are stopped short of the first down. The 7th time today that Ottawa has turned the ball over.
Don, this has been one of those types of afternoons. The offensive line just could not buy enough time for the quarterback to feel comfortable sitting in the pocket, because they knew they had a young quarterback facing them, that is Birmingham, that you pin your ears back and you come. Shante Peoples has had a wonderful game. Angelo Snipes and Anderson also delivering pressure on the quarterback. And defensively, Ottawa just had nothing to stop this run and shoot offense today. The defensive backs gave too much time and cushion to the receivers. Matt Dunnigan exploited it. Jimmy Klingler came in and also finished up for him.
And Klingler will take a knee. That takes the clock down to 14 seconds.
4 seconds.
Well, apparently the clock did not start with the snap of the ball as Klingler took the knee, and referee Ken Lazarek is saying take 4 seconds off the clock.
Well, this is a team in the Ottawa Rough Riders that are really going to have to go back to the drawing board, basically just have to go back to the basics, try to reduce things down, find something that will work and be successful for them, because the total package just hasn't brought them any luck this season.
If Lazarek had any compassion for Ottawa, he would have said take the clock all the way down to 0. Forget about the 4 seconds, take 14 off. But Klingler is able to take a knee, and that does take the final seconds off the clock as Jack Pardee accepts congratulations on his team's 7th win of the season, as the Birmingham Barracudas are now tied with the San Antonio Texans for 2nd place in the Southern Division. They each have 14 points. They are 6 back of the leaders, the Baltimore Stallions. Andre Ware and the Ottawa Rough Riders remain in last place in the CFL with a record of 2-11. They have a week off before they wind up the season with their final 5 games.